Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. The two invincible talents at the beginning were called trash. Chapter 1. Dear students, tomorrow is the day for you to choose your talents. I believe that everyone is fully prepared to welcome your new students. On the podium, a middle-aged man with gray hair and a serious expression said seriously. Next, I will announce the results of the talent point test in the past few days. Here are the students who can try to challenge the S-level talent. When your name is called, please raise your hand. As the teacher called the roll call, a few or three people raised their hands. Zhong Lan sat upright, his eyes filled with shock. He understood every word spoken by the man who looked like a teacher on the stage, but when combined, he was immediately confused. What talents, what new students, what talent points? Where am I and who am I? In an instant, countless memories flooded into his mind like a tide. Zhong Lan's eyes widened, and his heart was filled with turmoil. I've traveled through time. This is a world called Blue Star. The high school student he traveled through was also named Zhong Lan. Before modern times, the development of Blue Star and the Earth were very similar. But from around 2000, many dimensional gates appeared out of thin air on Blue Star, some leading to unknown spaces, called spiritual realms, and some leading to unknown spaces. From that day on, endless ferocious beasts poured out of them. Thermal weapons are basically ineffective against ferocious beasts, and even nuclear weapons cannot completely eliminate some of these giant ferocious beasts. Humanity is in danger. At a critical moment, someone discovered a magical stone. This magical stone can give humans extraordinary powers, also known as talents. With the help of the power of talent stones, countless heroes rose up, turned the tide, built tall city walls, and kept the fire of human civilization. Everyone can have a talent awakening after reaching adulthood, and talent selection requires consuming talent points. On the market, talent pills that can provide talent points have been sold for 10,000 alliance points each. One talent pill can provide 10 talent points. If you take more points, you can accumulate them. Some teenagers from wealthy families can take one pill every day, and I even heard that some teenagers use Tiantian pills as snacks. But it seems that I heard that there is an upper limit for talent points. The specific amount is not something that Zhong Lan can understand at this level. Their talent value is in the tens of thousands, enough to try S-level talents at will. And some teenagers, like Zhong Lan, are poor at home, and their parents are from the bottom of society. Over the years of frugality, Zhong Lan only managed to save a total of 20 talent points. There is no fairness between people. Some people were born in Rome, while others were born as cows and horses. Even if you have talent points, you may not be able to awaken S-level talents. The higher the level of talent, the lower the chance of awakening. Everyone has only one chance to awaken, but if the talent value is enough, you can try multiple talents until you succeed. Most people start with S-level talents, S1, S2, S3. Then A1, A2, B1, B2, until the talent value is exhausted. The teacher on the stage nodded and continued. What I'm reading below, students who can try A-level talents, please raise your hands. This time there were obviously several times more people raising their hands. The teacher's face softened slightly and he nodded. The following is a B-level talent. Anyone who has read it, please raise your hand. As the teacher finished reading the names one by one, all the remaining students who had not raised their hands raised their hands. Only Zhong Lan seemed to be forgotten, sitting there alone, looking so different. The teacher immediately noticed Zhong Lan, a special person, but he did not mock him. He also knew Zhong Lan's family conditions. The teacher secretly sighed, what a great young man. He is perseverant, willing to think, loves to learn, and respects his teachers. Unfortunately, his family background restricts him. But he had no choice. The teaching profession was not rich. He could only support one child at most, and he could not afford to raise more. Even though he wanted to help Zhong Lan, he was unable to do so. In Blue Star China, 90% of the resources and wealth are concentrated in the hands of 1% of the people. In recent years, the chances of civilians producing outstanding talents have become less and less, and it can even be said to be almost non-existent. Origin determines a person's lower limit, while talent determines a person's upper limit. Zhong Lan is the type of person whose upper and lower limits are very stable and basically overlap into a line. The last talent point test, Zhong Lan's test result, was 15 talent points. After returning home, he and his sister shared a talent pill, so his talent points should be 20 now. The predecessor originally wanted to collect the talent points needed for AB level talent, but his mother was laid off and lost his job, resulting in the family no longer being able to buy talent pills. The teacher can also understand him. After all, the students all have at least hundreds of talent points, while Zhong Lan only has a measly 15 points. The pitiful talent points can only support him to choose a D-level talent. Although D-level talents have a 100% awakening success rate, they are D-level talents after all. In terms of power, compared to S-level and A-level talents, they are not the same dimensional ability at all. From the perspective of growth potential and talent and skill strength, there is also one in the sky and one on the ground. The teacher did not continue to read the list of students who could awaken C-level and D-level talents because it was not necessary. Awakened people must enter the spiritual realm every once in a while to maintain their talents. C-level and D-level talents have extremely low growth potential. Even if they can barely enter the spiritual realm, they will be dead ends. Seeing everyone's talents, to be honest, the teacher is a little disappointed. He continued, although our number 46 middle school in Sanjiang City is not a key high school, being able to enter our school shows that all students have laid a solid foundation in elementary school and junior high school. Facing the only opportunity to change your life, don't you want to challenge it? Everyone who is capable should accumulate some talent points in the past few days and try to push his limits. A-level people can try S-level, and B-level people can try A-level. The students' eyes widened in surprise. Because, they remember that this teacher also warned them before. Don't be too ambitious, there is only one chance to awaken in life, act within your ability, there are no useless talents, only useless awakeners. One of the more courageous students could not help but raise his hand and said, "But, Teacher Lee, that's not what you said before. There are not many talent points in the first place. What if we fail to awaken?" Teacher Lee's face froze, and he secretly took out a small notebook and wrote down the name of this classmate. He put down the small notebook in his hand and said sadly, "Because time is not waiting for me. Yesterday, a dragon-level ferocious beast attacked the imperial capital. Although it was repelled by Sejong, an S-level awakened person, it also cost the lives of 30 A-level awakened people. It can be foreseen that as the level of the ferocious beast increases, C-level and even B-level talent awakeners will lose the qualifications for a head-on battle." After listening, all the students nodded. They also learned about the news of the attack on the imperial capital yesterday from various channels. That dragon-level ferocious beast was 100 meters tall, and even the solid city walls of the imperial capital could not block its breath. If a dragon-level ferocious beast attacks Sanjiang City, the consequences can be imagined. Sanjiang City, a small prefecture-level city, must be destroyed and people destroyed. Teacher Lee clapped his hands and asked everyone to be quiet, continued. "Next, I will focus on introducing S-level talents and A-level talents. You can choose accordingly according to your preferences." Teacher Lee opened his notebook, and suddenly bursts of ups and downs came from the speakers. Oh, my God. Teacher Lee's face immediately turned the color of pig liver, and he closed the notebook with such force that it started to smoke. All the students in the audience had dull eyes and looked at Teacher Lee with an incredulous look. Teacher Lee is worthy of being an old Jonghu. He forced himself to calm down and said, "My laptop has a virus, and the talent list has been distributed on everyone's desks. Watch it yourself." After Teacher Lee finished speaking, he hurried out of the classroom as if his butt was on fire. There was an explosion in the classroom. The male students were all excited, and the female students were so embarrassed that they couldn't even raise their heads. I didn't expect that Lao Li turned out to be that kind of person in private. He usually has thick eyebrows and big eyes, but he actually likes European and American horses. Hee, yes, and I heard that he had an affair with the English teacher. Really, tell me quickly. Zhong Lan held a moment of silence for Lao Li's death. They will graduate in a month or two. As a class teacher, Lao Li will definitely have an extremely painful time during this period. He opened the booklet on the desk, which detailed the categories of S-level, A-level, B-level, C-level, and D-level talents. Others started from S-level, but Zhang Lan did the opposite and started directly from D level. It was useless to look at other levels. He didn't have that fate. As a human being, you have to accept your fate. As the lines of text came into view, Zhang Lan's frowning eyebrows slowly relaxed. It seems like I don't have to accept this bullshit fate. The small book records the name of the D-level talent, the inherited hero, the probability of awakening, the difficulty of improvement, and the comprehensive evaluation. Two of them particularly attracted his attention. Talent name: I became bald and became stronger. Heritage hero: bald man in yellow uniform. Awakening probability: 100%. Seeing this, Zhang Lan suddenly felt that he had heard of the bald man in yellow uniform somewhere. He turned to the back and saw the evaluation of the talent. Increase difficulty: no difficulty, run 10 kilometers every day, do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and 100 squats. Closing square bracket. Seeing the exercise method, Zhang Lan immediately confirmed, isn't this the great demon King Saitama? Yellow battle suit, bald man, the same exercise routine every day. Comprehensive evaluation: don't choose. I say it again, don't choose. Apart from making you bald in 3 years, this talent only improves your attributes by a pitiful 0.01 every day. Even if you have no more talent points, don't choose this skill. Closing square bracket. P.S. This bald guy must be an idiot. How can there be such an idiotic way of exercising in the world? Closing square bracket. Saitama sensei is an idiot. Zhang Lan suddenly looked strange. He looked around, fearing that a fist would break through the dimensional wall and smash the book and the person who wrote the review into rubbish. There was another talent that also shocked Zhang Lan. Talent name: I can become stronger by spending time in the sun. Heritage hero: exhibitionist who wears underwear outside. Awakening probability: 100%. Difficulty of improvement: there is no difficulty. You can slowly increase your attribute points by soaking in the sun every day. Closing square bracket. Comprehensive evaluation: don't choose unless you become a vegetable. This talent was once awakened by an idiot. 3 years later, he had improved a total of 5 attribute points. This talent is even more deceptive than the talent, I became bald and became stronger. One person's power cannot be improved in a lifetime. Closing square bracket. On Blue Star, before awakening, the average human value was 10 strength, 10 physical strength, 10 agility, and 10 spirit. You can become stronger by being in the sun. Wear underwear outside. Isn't this Dachau? Zhang Lan rushed to the classroom window and glanced at the sky. He suppressed his pounding heart. Fortunately, he didn't see the man wearing underwear and a red cloak. Who wrote this book review so bravely? These two heritage heroes are both capable of breaking stars with their bare hands, and can jump from the blue star to the moon in one leap. Who gave him the courage to evaluate the talents of the two strongest men in Blue Star like this? Liang Jingru. What an international joke. The inheritance of these two heroes has been rated as D level. You are so brave, does your mother know? Zhang Lan searched in his mind and found that there was no legend about teacher Saitama and Dachau in this world. No wonder some people are so reckless that they dare to call two super invincible, perverted and awesome heroes a bald man in a yellow suit and an exhibitionist wearing underwear. They don't know the two superheroes. Isn't this developed? Such an awesome talent is actually a D-level talent. The probability of talent awakening is 100%. Could it be the blessing of the goddess of fate that made him pick up the big leak? But soon, Zhang Lan realized that something was wrong. If these two talents were so powerful, it made no sense that the person he had chosen before would give such a low evaluation. There are not many people who are rich and talented, but there are a lot of people like Zhang Lan who have no money and no power. All the seniors who chose these two talents in the past must have been cheated to death, so they would give such tear-jerking and impassioned comments. Zhang Lan hid the question in his heart. If he had the opportunity to ask someone who had awakened these two talents, he would probably have a more comprehensive answer. He decided that if he couldn't do it tomorrow, he would choose one of these two talents. After all, he only had 20 talent points and didn't have much choice. Later, Zhang Lan took the time to look at the S-level talents. S1 talent: telekinesis. Legacy heroes: green-haired superheroine. Awakening probability: 0.001%. Increase the difficulty. After awakening this talent, you will treat yourself as lame. You will no longer need to use your feet to walk. You can use your mind to wipe your buttocks when going to the toilet, which also saves paper. Comprehensive evaluation. Extremely powerful. Yu Ling, one of the 3 emperors of China, is the one who awakened this talent. Women seem to have a slightly higher chance of awakening this talent. Zhong Lan couldn't help but look weird. The green-haired superheroine sounded better than the bald man in yellow. She should be a tornado. S2 talent. Ancient martial arts. Heritage hero. Silver-haired wolf. Awakening probability. 0.05%. Increase the difficulty. You need to understand the secrets of ancient boxing, and talent, perseverance, and persistence are all indispensable. Comprehensive evaluation. Extremely powerful. Su Hao, one of the 3 emperors of China, is the one who has awakened this talent. If a man has practiced boxing, the probability of awakening this talent in ancient martial arts can be a little higher. The silver-haired wolf, Zhong Lan thought about it for a moment, seemed to be Mr. Bangu. Zhong Lan understood a little bit when he saw this. The ranking of co-authored talents is based on the level of the strongest person after the talent is awakened. Teacher Saitama, the superhuman talent should have some hidden conditions to become the complete version. No one has been able to trigger the conditions before, so people in this world classified their talents as D level. Zhong Lan thought silently, Teacher Saitama, Superman, let me inherit your steely will and body. Suddenly, a fair and pretty face appeared in front of Zhong Lan. She glanced at the small notebook in Zhong Lan's hand with a smile and asked Zhong Lan, have you chosen your awakening talent? The girl's name instantly appeared in Zhong Lan's mind, Yan Qian. She came from a wealthy family and was by Fumei in the class. They usually had a decent relationship, and they were one of Zhong Lan's few friends. He didn't have time to answer. Another busty woman came next to her, rolled her eyes at Zhong Lan and sneered. Just him, he can find a talent to awaken in the D level. This big-breasted girl is named Lu Jing. She is a social butterfly in the class and maintains a distant relationship with many lickers. Relying on her wealthy family, she is usually sharp-tongued and often sarcastic towards Zhong Lan. In the past, Zhong Lan, as a child from a poor family, usually chose to swallow his anger. But at this moment, Zhong Lan had traveled from another world, and he was not used to Lu Jing. He immediately sneered, you don't need to worry about my awakening, but you, Lu Jing, if talking about a boyfriend can provide talent points, your talent points must be over 10 million. Yan Qian's eyes widened and she looked at Zhong Lan in surprise. Is this still the shy boy she knew? The sharpness in Zhong Lan's eyes at this moment made her feel very strange. Lu Jing didn't expect that Zhong Lan would dare to fight back and scold him so harshly. She was stunned for a few seconds and then sneered. Zhong Lan, even if you awaken your D-level talent, no university will want you. If you can't afford to go to university, you won't be able to enter the spiritual realm, and your talent will slowly disappear within a year. Taking a step back, even if you are lucky enough to enter the spiritual realm, you will only be able to awaken D-level talents, and you will be eaten alive by the monsters inside, and you will still die. Lu Jing mocked Zhong Lan. Being poor until you die will be your best ending. Don't be wishful thinking, it can change your destiny. Zhong Lan sneered. You don't need to worry about my future, Lu Jing. If you have this leisure, just take care of yourself. Don't fail to awaken tomorrow. When Lu Jing saw that Zhong Lan dared to curse her for failing to awaken, she immediately rolled her eyes and wanted to continue humiliating Zhong Lan. Seeing that the matter was getting bigger, Yan Qian quickly persuaded Zhong Lan and Lu Jing. Okay, just say a few words. Just as the English class was about to begin, Lu Jing snorted and said a harsh word. Just wait for me. Then he proudly walked back to his seat. After school, Yan Qian waited for Zhong Lan downstairs and comforted Zhong Lan. Lu Jing has always been like this, don't take it to heart. Zhong Lan shook his head, saying that he didn't take it seriously at all. Although Yan Qian and Lu Jing had different attitudes towards him, they both believed in their hearts that he would become a complete waste in this life. The difference in class meant that he and the 2 rich girls would not have anything in common. He waved his hand, said nothing, rode on his bicycle under the moonlight, and ran towards home. His parents died early in his previous life, and his parents in this world looked exactly the same as his parents in his previous life. He also had a lovely younger sister at home. Zhong Lan pedaled hard and rushed home, her heart burning. Early the next morning, Zhong Lan finished breakfast and went out amidst the earnest instructions of his parents. Last night, he learned an important piece of news from his father, that is, when one's talent awakens, one needs to call the hero's name and obtain their approval. There is no legend of Teacher Saitama and Superman in this world. People knew nothing about the two of them, and simply used their appearance to describe them, defining them as a bald man in a yellow uniform and an exhibitionist wearing underwear. During the awakening ceremony, the two superheroes were called by the names recorded in their talent manuals. When Zhong Lan heard the news, his expression was dull. You were really lucky to have the courage to call Saitama the Great Demon King and Superman by the names recorded in the talent manual. If you are not beaten to death on the spot, it is considered that your ancestors have accumulated good deeds and are blessed by gods and Buddhas in the sky. As a result, the talents they inherited were less than 1/10,000,000th of the original talents. When others call you a fool, but you still teach them their skills, isn't that a masochist? Fortunately, these two were both famously good-tempered among superheroes, otherwise it would be very likely that someone would be killed during the inheritance ceremony. But Zhong Lan didn't have this problem. In his previous life, he was an avid fan of One Punch Man. Even at the comic exhibition, the cuz passed Mr. Saitama. As for Dakao's spirit of never giving up and loving the world, he has deeply experienced it from many works. No one in this world understands the legends of the two superheroes and the spirit of the two superheroes better than him. It's a pity that he can only choose the talent inheritance of one superhero. It would be great if he could have both. Thinking of this, Zhong Lan pedaled his bicycle very fast and ran towards the school like an arrow off the string. At 9 o'clock in the morning, on the playground of number 46 Middle School in Sanjiang City, the talent awakening ceremony officially began. The principal came on stage, cleared his throat, and said, "On this important day, let me say a few words." Then he started talking nonsense. This lecture lasted for half an hour. Everyone on and off the stage was impatient and gnashing their teeth, wanting to go up and kill him directly. In the Sanjiang City live broadcast room, parents who wanted to watch their children's awakening ceremony were already excited. Old man's son, he fell asleep when he heard me. At night I stole the elastic band from my wife's pants, made it into a slingshot, and went to smash the windows of his house. Parent, although your behavior is not good, I support you from the bottom of my heart. Some parents who were students of Lao Sun couldn't help but sigh. Why can't I still feel the fear of being dominated by old son after so many years since I left school? One parent kindly reminded me, "Don't get too excited. Our weakness is still in his hands. We'll talk about what to do in a month." Suddenly, the live broadcast room was quiet, and some people even said it without conscience. Actually, after listening to Principal Sun's speech, I suddenly gained some new insights into life. Yeah, swipe the screen quickly and wash it away before this old guy sees it. Principal Sun is of high standard. Really high. Principal Sun is amazing. It's really wonderful. Finally, I was reminded by the awakening ceremony staff. Principal Sun, if you continue talking, the children's awakening ceremony will not be completed today. He reluctantly let go of the already soaked microphone. The staff of the awakening ceremony quickly grabbed the microphone, frowned, held the microphone far away, and started calling names. Li Xin, Class 1, Grade 3, come up. A short boy walked up with an expectant look on his face. Under the arrangement of the staff, he stood in a rectangular cabin. As the door slowly closed, countless heroes began to appear on the outside of the cabin, and a round of colorful lights flashed on the top. Zhong Lan looked at the awakening cabin like a neon light and complained without knowing what to say. Whoever designed the awakening cabin was so vulgar that it reminded him of the small street hair salon in his previous life. Except for haircuts, other services were available. Don't ask him why he was so impressed. The expenditure of 5,000 yuan per time is still unforgettable for him. After a while, the colorful lights stopped flashing, and the hero's shadow slowly dissipated in the air. Suddenly there was an uproar around him. Awakening failed. Only then did Zhang Lan find the meaning of the awakening cabin lights from his memory. If all the lights go out, the awakening fails. The white light is D level, the green light is C level, the blue light is B level, the red light is A level, and the colorful light is S level. If you run out of talent points and fail to awaken successfully, all lights will go out. The awakening cabin slowly opened, revealing Li Xin's depressed face. The staff paused for a while and announced the results. Li Xin, awakening failed. Li Xin covered his face and shed sad tears. After his awakening failed, he could only enter a technical school to learn a craft, and he disappeared from all living beings from then on. His life has taken another path, and glory and wealth have nothing to do with him anymore. The classmates around Zhang Lan did not laugh at Li Xin, they suddenly became nervous. A person only has one chance in his life. Talent points alone are not enough. Awakening also depends on luck. It will be their turn soon. In the live broadcast room, there was joy. Ah ha ha, this guy really failed. When I saw the look in his eyes when he entered, I felt like he was not good at it. It's just that you are submissive and don't have a winning mentality. Li Xin's father said below. Upstairs, tell me your home address. I have some gifts for you. Some people even comforted Li Xin's father. If you can't, just have another one. What a big deal. Li Xin's father took the opportunity to express his bitterness. It's so difficult to raise children now. One child has already exhausted all my strength. Do you know how I got here all these years? Upstairs, my triplets. Li Xin's father immediately typed out color subtitles. Ah ha ha ha, let me laugh for a while first. But the probability of awakening is really not high. I heard from the children that this time the teacher asked them to try to choose S-level talents to awaken. Yes, the average level of ferocious beasts is no less than level 3. If a D-level talent is awakened, it is the same as if it has not been awakened. Very few of these parents have succeeded in awakening, and it is understandable that they hope their children will succeed. On the playground, the awakening ceremony continues. Ku Ling. The staff reads the next name. A slightly fat girl who was a little over 1.5 meters tall and weighed 80 kilograms walked up. It was obvious that the girl was a little nervous. Her face was flushed and there were beads of sweat on her forehead. She followed the staff's instructions and stood in the awakening cabin. I thought she would fail if she was so nervous. Unexpectedly, a moment later, the light of the awakening cabin froze in blue. The shadow of a hero froze in the air, flickered, and flew into the awakening cabin. Blue is actually a B-level talent. I don't know what kind of abilities she has awakened, but Class B also has many very powerful talents. I actually succeeded in awakening. I'm so envious. The students on the playground were in high spirits. This girl's success gave them hope. The teachers also nodded secretly. In the past few years, 10 consecutive black starts have occurred. Today, the second awakening was successful, which is considered a good start. Although Blu-ray has a B-level ability, she can still go to an ordinary university, which means she has lived up to the hard work of training her for so many years. The cabin door opened, and a girl named Ku Ling jumped out and almost fell to the audience. The staff quickly supported her. After awakening, one suddenly has the physical improvement brought by talent. Abnormalities often occur due to the sudden improvement. There are things that fly and cannot fall down, things that are on fire all over, things that suddenly burst out of clothing, things that are naked, and so on. Fortunately, the staff are all experienced people and will confirm before opening the cabin door to prevent any confusion during the national live broadcast. The staff and the girl briefly confirmed and announced loudly. Ku Ling, B-level awakening successful, awakening talent B3. Abilities above level B are numbered. Zhang Lan took out the pamphlet, looked at the B3 talent, and recovered physically. Ah, this seems to have no use other than being durable. The chatting of several boys next to him refreshed Zhang Lan's worldview. B3, this talent is very good. I'll find her later and add her on WeChat. How shameless Kumba, you don't think the same as I do. Hey, what do you think? Zhang Lan silently stayed away from them. He often felt inferior because he was not perverted enough. After Ku Ling stepped down, several teachers from the admissions offices of colleges and universities rushed out from the crowd of onlookers and surrounded Ku Ling. It seemed that they couldn't wait and started fighting for people. The eyes of the students who witnessed all this showed the light of expectation. This is a step to the sky. Only by entering university will they have the opportunity to become a hero that everyone is looking for in the future. The test was quickly completed for Class 1, Grade 3, and in the end, only 7 people successfully awakened, 4 B level, 3 C level, none A level, S level, and no one was selected for D level because no university would recruit you if you were selected. Why recruit them? Is it a waste of food? It can be seen from this that how difficult it is to awaken to A level and S level. It is best not to even think about it if you don't have a good family background. Then Class 2 of Grade 3, which is Zhong Lan's class, started taking the test. Ni Fei, awakening failed. Niu Zhang, awakening failed. Cheng Heitao, awakening failed. A dozen people in a row failed to awaken, leaving Teacher Li's old face full of vicissitudes of life, and it was written all over that life was worse than death. It doesn't matter if I mistakenly played a European and American movie in class yesterday, but today the students are awakened and have a bad start. He looked up at the sky, and there seemed to be waves flashing in his eyes. Oh, this world is not worth it. Lao Li ignored the school's express regulations that teachers are not allowed to smoke in front of students. He took out a big Chinese stick, squinted his eyes and started smoking it in public. Principal's son glared at him a few times and felt soft in his heart. Hey, forget it, Lao Li is in a bad mood, just let him go today. As the number of people who failed the test continued to increase, Lao Li's face became as black as the bottom of a pot. He could not get any darker. Now there are still more than a dozen people in the class who have not been tested. Lao Li couldn't help but doubt his life. Did they listen to what I said yesterday? All selected S-level talents to awaken. I ask you to challenge S-level and A-level. This is for those rich kids who have rich families and a lot of talent points. What kind of trouble are you going to make by challenging S-level talents all at once? What's your level? Don't you have any idea? In the live broadcast room, parents from other classes immediately gloated. Ah, haha, why is Class 2 so miserable? No one succeeds. Parents of Class 2, our Class 1 failed to awaken just now. What you laughed at was a joy. Let me see another one now. Li was tricked by Lao Li. My child said that from now on, A level and B level will be useless. Only S level can fight against ferocious beasts head on. Holy shit, did Lao Li really say that? Isn't this a lie? S level, there aren't many S level talents in the country in a year, right? Look at Lao Li's face, I guess he didn't expect it, haha, I laughed to death. And Lao's son, his lips are starting to tremble, ha ha ha, old man, you have today too. Ahem, parent, please pay attention to your words, weakness, weakness. The internet was suddenly abuzz, but Class 2, Grade 3, was completely silent. Yan Qian calmly smoothed her hair, walked onto the stage, and stood in the awakening cabin. The lights flickered and soon settled in red. There was even a female hero wearing black and red clothes. Her phantom gradually materialized and flew into the awakening cabin. Coax. The whole playground was boiling instantly. Lao Li's eyes widened and he jumped 3 feet high in excitement. The classmates around Zhong Lan were also completely shocked. It's actually a level. I don't know what kind of ability it is. If it's mental, it would be awesome. Talents are divided into several types, including elemental system, strengthening system, restoration system, spiritual system, and special system. Teacher Saitama's ability belongs to the strengthening system, which strengthens the physical body. Blue Star's strengthening system basically belongs to the cannon fodder and human shield type. Superman's abilities are relatively complex. If they are really broken down, they should be a fusion of the elemental system, the special system, the spiritual system, and the enhanced system. The staff on the stage asked Yan Qian in a low voice, and then announced loudly. Yan Qian, spiritual type. If the talent awakened as a level or above, the staff will only announce the department and not the specific talent name. Those with A-level talent awakening are already the pillars of the country. If their talent and abilities are mastered by others, they can easily become passive on the battlefield. In order to protect the safety of these people, only a very small number of people can inquire about the abilities of A-level awakened people. Yan Qian showed a confident smile. As soon as she stepped off the stage, she was surrounded by people from the admissions offices of various universities. Come to our Imperial University. Only our Imperial University is worthy of such a powerful talent. Our Innocence University is willing to waive your tuition for 4 years and even reward you with a separate dormitory. Student Yan, why don't you consider studying at our Moroccan University? It's a world-class school and has opportunities for overseas study tours every year. Seeing how popular Yan Qian was, the remaining students in Class 2 all had hot eyes. The next one is Lu Jing. Her light is also red. A tall male hero who is half red and half white flies into the awakening cabin. Zhong Lan's eyes flickered. Was it both ice and fire? Sure enough, the staff announced loudly. Lu Jing, Elemental System. Coax. The entire playground was completely blown away. 2 A-level awakeners appeared in one class. I saw Lao Li looking decadent, his eyebrows dancing with joy, his hands on his hips, looking up to the sky and laughing so hard that even his molars could be seen. Ah ha ha ha, it's all thanks to my teachings. Lao Li was secretly ecstatic. He would definitely be on the list for promotion to vice principal next year. Lu Jing walked off the stage and was surrounded by dozens of admissions office staff, like a princess on tour. She held her head high, her face arrogant, her eyes shining with pride, and she thought to herself. Zhong Lan, when I adapt to the power after awakening, the gap between me and you will become wider and wider. You will only become a waste and trash for the rest of your life. Zhong Lan noticed Lu Jing looking at him with unabashed contempt. He knew Lu Jing's character very well. She was petty, vengeful, and despicable. Now that she has awakened her A-level talent, she has become a powerful awakener. When she becomes stronger, she will definitely try to take revenge on him once she has the chance. But he smiled faintly. If he hadn't discovered the secret of the D-level talent, he would be scared to death at this moment. But, I'm sorry, Brother General is someone you can't afford to offend. As long as I have 2 talents, I can awaken any one of them. In the future, the only person who will kneel at my feet and cry for mercy will be you, Lu Jing. If you can't wake up, if you don't reopen as soon as possible, what are you waiting for? Soon, the staff on the stage called his name. Zhong Lan. Zhong Lan's eyes narrowed, and it was finally his turn. Whether he would be a dragon or an insect in the future, it depends on this time. Zhong Lan stepped into the awakening cabin. The cabin was unexpectedly large, enough for him to lie down, and there was a large blue glowing stone placed in the middle. This should be the legendary talent stone. It is said that it was the size of a building at first. Later, humans discovered that even if it was divided, the effect would not be affected. So it was split into many pieces and distributed to various regions for use in student awakening ceremonies. The staff outside the awakening cabin reminded Zhong Lan to just put your hand on the stone and meditate on the talent you want to awaken. Zhong Lan took a deep breath and placed both hands on the stone. Suddenly, Zhong Lan felt that his soul had left his body and came to a space composed of countless lines. There were thousands of heroic figures in front of him, faintly displayed. A cold voice sounded in his ears. Please choose the hero talent you want to awaken. Zhong Lan said in a deep voice. Saitama. Yes, he thought about it for a long time and chose Teacher Saitama, even though Dakao was also very talented and could just lie down. But with the hidden danger of Lu Jing, he had to become stronger quickly. Teacher Saitama's training method only requires hard work, and you can become stronger every day. As for Da Chao's talent, he is a bit speechless. If it encounters a continuous cloudy day, the intensity of the sunlight will be greatly reduced. Without sunlight, how will he cope with it? Sanjiang City is located in the Jiangnan region. There is a 2-month rainy season every year, and it rains every day without stopping. Therefore, after comprehensive consideration, Zhong Lan decided to choose Teacher Saitama as his first choice. As AD level talent, he only needs to consume 10 talent points, so Zhong Lan has 10 talent points left. Unused talent points can be directly turned into potential points at a ratio of 100:1 after awakening. This is also the reason why some children from rich families can become second-level or even third-level powerhouses after awakening. I'm sorry, Superman, if I have the chance to choose my second talent, I will definitely choose you. Zhong Lan thought silently. A bald man wearing a yellow uniform slowly appeared in front of his eyes. Success, success, Zhang Lan's breathing became rapid with excitement. When former students chose Saitama's talent, they all called Saitama-sensei the bald man wearing a yellow battle suit. Zhang Lan was even worried that if he called Saitama, the awakening ceremony would not be recognized and he would not be able to call Saitama the Great Demon King. The man looked sleepy, scratched his face, and said very casually, "Tell me why you want to be a hero." Zhang Lan understands that the critical moment has come. This may be the most important part of the inheritance and gaining the recognition of the hero. He remembered the setting in Mr. Saitama's comics. Saitama became a hero because of interest. Zhang Lan looked at the man in front of him seriously. Although Saitama was probably a projection or a clone now. But Zhang Lan felt a strong sense of oppression, as if he was facing Saitama himself. It seems that the correct title for him caused the inheritance ceremony to change. He thought for a moment and answered seriously. "Because of my interest, I want to be someone like you, Saitama-sensei." Saitama suddenly laughed. "Interesting, is it because of interest? You look a lot like me when I was young." Before Zhang Lan could speak, Qiu suddenly approached, and an enlarging fist appeared in front of Zhang Lan. Zhang Lan's sixth sense went crazy and issued warnings. Death, absolutely death, but now he can't move at all. Qiu's fist stopped when it was less than a centimeter away from Zhang Lan's head, and lightly flicked Zhang Lan's forehead. "Not bad, boy, see you again when you have a chance. Sana." Before he finished speaking, Qiu's figure slowly disappeared in front of Zhang Lan. Zhang Lan finally breathed a sigh of relief. Just as he was about to leave the awakening stone, he accidentally touched the edge with his right hand. That cold voice sounded in my ears again. "Please choose the hero talent you want to awaken." Ah, Zhang Lan forcefully twisted his turned body back. What happens, again? System bug. But then Zhang Lan was overwhelmed by endless ecstasy. It was just right. Originally, he wanted both talents, but now he had a second chance. Was it God's trick for him as a time traveler? Or maybe two souls once lived in this body? So he got a second chance to choose. Children only do multiple choice questions, but as an adult, I want them all. Zhang Lan forced himself to calm down his excitement and said the magical name. Superman, Clark, Kent, Kal, Al. He was afraid that one name wouldn't work, so he almost gave out the entire Superman genealogy. Suddenly, a muscular man wearing a red cloak and underwear appeared in midair. His eyes seemed to contain endless energy. Zhang Lan and Superman looked at each other and felt as if they were naked. The corner of Superman's mouth raised, and it was obvious that he was in a good mood at the moment, and a calm and soft voice sounded. "Human, why do you want my power?" With Saitama's talent at the bottom, Zhang Lan became more calm, followed his heart, and spoke his answers firmly. "I need the strength to enforce justice." Of course, this justice is the justice in Zhang Lan's heart, not the justice constrained by the world. Superman nodded and said, "Very good, I hope you will do what you say, then I will share my power with you." In the awakening cabin, the meteorite emitted endless light and was divided into two groups, one golden and one red, all pouring into Zhang Lan's body. No one noticed that as Zhang Lan's awakening was successful, the figures of the two superheroes inside the meteorite gradually faded and became shallower. Outside, when he saw Zhang Lan entering the awakening cabin, Teacher Li's eyes darkened, but there was still some sadness in his heart. He could already foresee Zhang Lan's choice. Only with D-level talents could Zhang Lan afford it. Sure enough, the lights flickered, then froze in white. Outside the awakening cabin, a bald man wearing a yellow combat uniform and a white cape, his body almost solidified, punched towards the awakening cabin. Then it slowly dissipated in the air. Thousands of students in the audience were stunned. Did we read it correctly? It was white. What's the use of D-level talent? No college will recruit you at all, okay. Recruiting students with D-level talents is a waste of national resources. The parents in the live broadcast room were also shocked. Whose child is this? Why did he choose a D-level talent? His life will be ruined. It took a long time for a parent to say something. This child's name is Zhang Lan. He is my child's classmate. His father is a sanitation worker. His mother is laid off and is unemployed at home. He also has a younger sister who is in elementary school. Maybe he really has no other choice. Why? The gap between the rich and the poor in society is getting wider and wider. What many people spend on lunch in a day may be the living expenses of another family for a year. Everyone in the live broadcast room seemed to have been cast into silence. There was a rare silence in the live broadcast room with tens of thousands of people. But at this moment, the lights that had been fixed to white glowed again, and the colorful lights cycled. Old Zhao's eyes widened immediately. What happened? There was a bug in the awakening cabin. Or should I say, Zhonglan created a miracle. While he was doubting, the light of the awakening cabin was fixed in white again. Then a strong man wearing a red cloak and underwear, his muscles were like knives and axes, and red light shot out from his eyes, bombarding the awakening cabin. Then it slowly dissipated. Lao Zhao shook his head and couldn't help laughing at himself. What are you thinking about? Zhonglan has at most 15 talent points, which is only enough to choose a D-level talent once. The barrages in the live broadcast room flooded the screen like a flood. Holy shit, what's going on? There's a bug in the awakening cabin. Why does he seem to have awakened twice? Didn't you say it's 100% safe and reliable? I wonder if awakening can be controlled by humans. It's very possible that I have always had the doubts upstairs. The current situation is as absurd as the 7 table tennis balls standing in a straight line during the lottery. Moreover, everyone has always questioned the method of awakening. Why can children from rich families, with their massive talent points, be able to repeatedly try S-level talents, or at worst be able to get guaranteed A-level talents? Children from poor families can only choose C-level or D-level talents. If awakening is a gift from God to mankind, then all living beings should be equal. Zhong Lanren was in the awakening cabin, but he didn't know that his unintentional behavior had caused an uproar on the internet. Zhong Lan stepped out of the awakening cabin and saw the staff coming to greet him. He asked Zhong Lan with confusion on his face. How many talents have you awakened? Why does the light in the awakening cabin flash twice? Zhong Lan thought, and the next time, a light curtain appeared in front of his eyes that only he could see. Name: Zhong Lan. Constitution: 9. Spirit: 10. Strength: 8. Agility: 8. Note: the basic attributes of adults are 10. Talent 1. I became stronger even though I became bald. Saitama's talent. Talent 2. I can become stronger by basking in the sun. Superman talent. Such an attribute panel can be seen by everyone who has successfully awakened, and only he can know the specific values. Zhong Lan thought about it and replied, I just awakened once. It's a D-level talent. I became bald and also became stronger. The reason why he chose to conceal the fact that he had awakened 2 talents. It was because he suspected that he could awaken 2 talents, probably because of time travel, and that there were 2 souls in one body. That's why Awakening Stone gave him 2 chances. How could he tell others such a secret? Although it is possible that he has awakened 2 talents and will be spotted by some universities and recruited as a guinea pig to experiment with students with dual talents, what will be the difference? But that's not the result Zhong Lan wants. With Saitama and superhuman physique, it's only a matter of time before he climbs to the top of the world. Saitama-sensei trained for 3 years and became invincible. Dakao was a little weak when he was young, but became invincible instantly after turning 18. As long as you give him time, the sun can be shattered. There is absolutely no need for him to go to any university and risk exposing his dual talents. Zhong Lan has made up his mind that after graduating from high school, he will find a place to work where he can bask in the sun and exercise until he is invincible in the world before leaving the mountains. From this point of view, construction workers should be a better choice. It's reasonable to be exposed to the sun every day and do a few squats and push-ups by moving bricks and building walls. In this way, you can perfectly develop 2 talents and gradually become invincible in the world. The staff fiddled with the awakening cabin a few times in confusion, but saw nothing unusual. He waved his hand without interest and said, You go down, next. Although I knew that D-class awakened people were not welcome, I never expected that they would be so shameless and not even make an announcement. Zhong Lan smiled bitterly and shook his head. Forget it. Keeping a low profile was his policy. He had to keep a low profile and grow slowly, so that he could survive the early week stage. He walked down the platform and found that the people in the admissions office didn't even look at him, as if he was nothing. Zhong Lan laughed and said, Today you are ignoring me, but tomorrow I will make it impossible for you to reach high. Zhang Lan turned around and saw Lu Jing appearing behind him, with a pale face covered in foundation and a sarcastic expression. Lu Jing said with a sneer, "Poor idiot, what's the use of awakening a D-level talent? Look, is anyone paying attention to you?" Zhang Lan didn't have time to argue with her. He was eager to verify how much improvement these two talents could bring to him. He ignored Lu Jing and hurried to the playground nearby to start a 10-kilometer run. Lu Jing mistakenly thought that Zhang Lan was afraid of her, so she ran away. "I couldn't help but sneer, now I know I'm afraid. The D-level talent you awakened is garbage, and garbage should stay in the garbage heap." Zhang Lan felt the sun shining on his skin, and his whole body began to feel hot. His attribute points slowly increased by 0.001, 0.001. Zhang Lan calculated that he could increase his attribute points by about 0.001 per minute, so if he was exposed to the sun for 8 hours a day, he would be able to increase his attributes by 0.5 points. What is the concept of 0.5 attribute points a day? He remembered that the Talent Awakening manual said that someone who chose this talent only improved a total of 5 attribute points in 3 years. And he should be able to get 500 attribute points in 3 years. Why is his improvement speed hundreds of times faster than others? Is it because he has two talents at the same time, Saitama's physique plus superhuman physique? Quantitative changes lead to qualitative changes. In other words, because he is in perfect harmony with the hero, he can obtain the true heroic heritage. Although the exact reason has not yet been found, Zhang Lan understood that it was useless to think any more now. He was now eager to verify the effect of Saitama's talent. If it is really what he thinks, it will really be an invincible and explosive start. After running 10 kilometers, Zhang Lan immediately started doing 100 sit-ups. Saitama's exercise method requires no rest in between. Once interrupted, the effect will be greatly reduced. Zhang Lan's body was already weak, and his physical fitness was not even up to the average level of an adult. After doing 100 sit-ups, he was covered in sweat and his school uniform was soaked with sweat. But he never thought about giving up. If he couldn't persist even with this difficulty, what qualifications did he have to inherit Saitama's teacher's physique? What kind of face would he have in the future, claiming to be the inheritor of superhuman strength? Zhang Lan's strange behavior aroused the curiosity of the reporters present. As the only D-level talent awakener in the school, some people had already noticed him. It's just that he awakened a D-level talent, which really has no news value. But seeing this young man at this moment, torturing himself like a madman, some people couldn't bear it. They were sensible enough not to disturb Zhang Lan. They gave Zhang Lan a long close-up, and the host spoke in an emotional voice. "Hello everyone, we are at the awakening ceremony of number 46 Middle School in Sanjiang City. The boy you see is named Zhang Lan. He is a child from a poor family and his potential is only enough to awaken a D-level talent. We just confirmed through the staff that he awakened the talent of. Everyone knows about this talent. It can be said that it has almost no effect except making people bald. But this young man started exercising immediately and refused to waste a second. A hardworking young man, but his future is limited by his potential." The host finally said, "Here, we call on the country and society to pay more attention to these children from poor families, so that they can choose to awaken their talents with dignity and dignity." After the host finished speaking, the matter was still fermenting online. "Ha ha ha, you're laughing so hard. What do you think, this kid? If you choose the talent, I became bald and became stronger. After 3 years, there will only be one more bald man. This talent makes me cry if I talk about it too much. When I chose this talent, I was 18 years old and had 3 girlfriends. This year I am 38 years old and single. It's so unfair. Hard work cannot equal birth. The gap between rich and poor is too big. I just came from the live broadcast room. When he woke up, there was something wrong with the awakening cabin. It flashed twice. Really, is there a shady secret behind this? Why, those kids from rich families have tens of thousands of potential points when they awaken and can try out S-level talents more than a dozen times, while the kids from poor families can't even get enough potential points for C-level talents." Some reporters keenly discovered that the Zhang Lan awakening incident aroused public indignation. Isn't this a good opportunity to gain traffic? He immediately wrote quickly and wrote an article. Poor children spend everything they have but can't reach the potential of a sea-level awakening. Can this society be saved? Once the article was published, it was immediately widely circulated on the internet, and many people learned about Zhong Lan. As a person involved, Zhong Lan had no idea that online public opinion was constantly fermenting due to his awakening incident. He has now reached the last step of Saitama's exercise method, 100 squats. His lungs felt like they were on fire, burning and painful. But no matter how painful it is, he must persist and not be cruel to himself. In a few months, Lu Jing will step on his face and laugh wildly. Thinking of Lu Jing's ugly face, Zhong Lan had to hold on no matter how tired she was. Finally, Zhong Lan completed the first Saitama training method. In addition to his spirit, his other attributes instantly increased by 2 points each. Now his attributes are: Name, Zhong Lan; Constitution, 11; Spirit, 10; Strength, 10; Agility, 10; Potential points, 0.2. Talent 1, Saitama's talent. Talent 2, Superhuman talent. After 4 hours, the awakening ceremony came to an end. Zhong Lan barely completed the first Saitama training method, and the two talents finally revealed their true colors, changing from ridiculous names to real heroic heritage. Zhong Lan collapsed to the ground, and he smiled with satisfaction. The improvement that Saitama's training method brought to him was visible to the naked eye. If he keeps this growth rate, he will get at least about 3,200 attribute points in 3 years. Coupled with superhuman talent, he can gain at least 3,700 attribute points. What is the concept of 3,700 attribute points? If the 4 attribute points add up to more than 1,000, you can be considered a 4th-level powerhouse. The strongest awakened person in Sanjiang City is only a 4th-level expert. If the total of the 4 attributes exceeds 5,000 points, he is already a 5th-level powerhouse. Even the 5th-level experts in the entire country of China would be ranked among the top 10,000. This is only the harvest of 3 years. What if the time is extended to 5 or 10 years? It can be said that as long as Zhong Lan does not die, he will eventually be invincible. Although Zhong Lan was too tired to lift his fingers, he couldn't help but curl up the corners of his mouth. "How are you?" a voice sounded. Zhong Lan opened his eyes and saw Yan Qian, looking at him with concern. Zhong Lan shook his head and said, "I'm fine, I'm just a little tired. I haven't congratulated you on awakening your A-level talent. Have you decided on which university you want to go to?" Yan Qian squatted down, helped him stand up, and replied, "I haven't decided yet. The conditions offered by Imperial University and Magic University are both good. You don't have to be sad. Although you have only awakened D-level talents, you may not be unable to become the best in other fields." Zhong Lan chuckled and said, "You don't understand. The D-level talent in your eyes is my Super S-level talent." With Yan Qian's support, he climbed up, staggered towards the parking shed, waved to Yan Qian and said, "I won't see you off when you go to school. I wish you that the rock will rise with the same wind and skyrocket to 90,000 miles. We are destined to meet again in the world." Yan Qian looked at the young man's stubborn back, bit her lip, and finally could only let out a sigh. She actually admired Zhong Lan, but she could only drift away from him. If Zhong Lan wakes up with outstanding talent and can get into a good university, they may still have a chance. The current situation is doomed, and there is no possible outcome between the two of them. When Zhong Lan returned home, his father Zhong Chengfei pulled him aside. He looked serious and asked Zhong Lan, "Son, I've seen everything about you from the news. I just want to ask you, do you want to go to college?" Zhong Lan was shocked. Hearing what his father meant, could he do anything? University is not only about learning cultural knowledge, but for the awakened, it is more important to obtain a copy of the spiritual realm. Awakened people can obtain potential points by experiencing spiritual realm dungeons, thereby improving themselves faster. There are even rumors that if you don't enter the spiritual realm, you will slowly lose your natural abilities. You can only get a ticket if you go to college. It is said that some private alliances of awakened people also have means to enter the spiritual realm. But the price is extremely expensive. A single admission to the spiritual realm on the black market can fetch 100,000 alliance coins. Judging from Zhang Lan's family background, she absolutely cannot afford such an expensive price. Zhang Lan couldn't help but sneer. Spiritual realm and awakening were gifts that belonged to all mankind, but now they were completely monopolized by some people. Although he felt that the two talents he had awakened would not disappear even if he did not enter the spiritual realm. But there is nothing wrong with being cautious. If these two powerful talents disappeared, he would wake up crying in the middle of the night. He asked his father, "Do you have any idea?" Zhang Chengfei nodded and said, "I have a comrade who is the vice president of the Five Elements Alliance. I saved his life when I was in the army. If you want to go to college, I'll ask him to help run it." Zhang Lan knew that his father was very strong throughout his life. Even though he lost the ability to fight due to injuries in his early years and returned home from the army, he never asked for help from his comrades. Now he is actually willing to beg for help for him. There was still a slight estrangement between him and his father in this world, but it disappeared without a trace at this moment. But Zhang Lan didn't need his father to beg for help. With two heroes with unlimited potential, he is confident that he can be proud of the blue stars even if he does not go to college. If it doesn't work out, I'll make my own money and go to the black market to buy spiritual realm qualifications. He was thinking about how to convince his father when he suddenly heard someone knocking on the door. Zhang Lan opened the door and saw a man wearing a blue suit. He looked about 40 or 50 years old, with deep eyes, elegant temperament, and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. He got straight to the point and introduced himself. "Hello, classmate Zhang Lan, I am Ning Zhengxin, the president of Sanjiang University. I would like to invite you to study at our Sanjiang University." Sanjiang University. Zhang Lan was confused. He was considered a native of Sanjiang City, but he had never heard of a university in Sanjiang City. Ning Zhengxin saw his doubts and said with a smile, "Sanjiang University is a private university that was just established this year, but we can also enter the spiritual realm copies of regular universities. And because it is newly established, you can get good resources in the school." Zhang Lan thought for a while, so it was good. His Saitama physique and superhuman physique actually did not require any resources or guidance. He could continue to get stronger by exercising every day. He only needs the copy of the spiritual realm provided by the university to experience himself. Moreover, the university is located in Sanjiang City, so you can study on a day trip and have food and accommodation at home, which can save a lot of money. But Zhang Lan still felt uneasy and asked Principal Ning, "Why did you choose me, AD-level talent awakener?" Ning Zhengxin smiled, pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses, and revealed a shocking secret. "I believe in my own vision. You must be an extremely rare awakened person with dual talents. I dare to guarantee this with the head on my neck." Zhang Lan's eyes suddenly widened. His secret was revealed by this person. "It looks like this old guy has something." Zhang Lan suddenly asked him warily, "You don't want to drag me into any evil experiment, do you?" Ning Zhengxin smiled. "How could it be? It's too late to train you." He immediately explained that it turned out that newly established private universities must achieve results in the National League at the end of the first year, and must be at least among the top 100 before they are eligible to continue to operate. Otherwise, it will be delisted and lose the qualification to continue running the school. There are hundreds of universities across the country, and it is not easy to get into the top 100. He is a little known, newly established private university with S-level students, so don't even think about it. Those who have awakened A-level and B-level talents will not come. Therefore, Ning Zhengxin could only take the wrong approach and personally come to invite Zhang Lan, a dual-talented awakener. After hearing this, Zhang Lan was determined. A year later, he would be at least a third-level awakener. As a freshman, he would be considered a genius if he could reach the second level within a year. As long as he is strong enough, even if his teammates are all pigs, he can still rank among the top 100 in the country. He showed his white teeth, held Ning Zhengxin's hand tightly, and said confidently, "Give me your address and admission letter, and I'll report in when school starts. Principal Ning, don't worry, I'll be with you in everything." Ning Zhengxin remained calm and nodded. He took out an admission notice from his briefcase and filled it out by hand on the spot. Zhang Lan was completely stunned by this operation. How could he still play like this? Ning Zhengxin declined Zhang Lan's family's attentive invitation to stay with him for dinner, walked out of the dilapidated alley, and wiped his sweat. Outside the alley, a girl was leaning against a telephone pole and waiting for him quietly. Ning Zhengxin asked the girl, "Are you sure he is the most suitable candidate?" The girl nodded and said, "His aura is golden, as majestic as the scorching sun. Although his strength is meager, his character is definitely not a problem." Ning Zhengxin sighed and said, "I hope so, we have no way out." Early the next morning, Zhang Lan jumped out of bed. His body, which was so sore after yesterday's exercise, had completely recovered. I don't know if it's Saitama's talent or the superhuman talent that brought him super recovery ability. No matter so much, Zhang Lan came to the school playground and continued to start a 10-kilometer long run, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 squats. He obviously felt lighter than yesterday. Saitama's training method could only improve his physique, strength and agility. But it doesn't matter. He aspires to become a quadrilateral warrior and has superhuman talents. His mental attributes can be improved by spending time in the sun. After 2 hours of hard training, Zhang Lan finally completed the Saitama exercise method before class. His behavior was noticed by his classmates, and they all started mocking him. "Ah ha ha, Zhang Lan really believes it. I'm waiting to see him become bald. Ha ha ha, D-level talent, can't even a dog learn it. Stop talking, do you want to laugh me to death? Even if I'm a dog, I'm still better than him at learning that D-level talent." It's hilarious. Zhang Lan is really funny. He dares to choose a cheating talent that has been verified by hundreds of millions of people. Is he out of his mind? Lu Jing's eyes flashed with an unknown light. What she awakened yesterday was the A-level elemental talent, the ability of ice and fire. Now, she can release ice balls and fire balls from her hands. It is foreseeable that this will be a very powerful ability in the future. There is a 5th-level awakened person in China named Yu Bo, who is also known as Dr. Ice and Fire. His awakened powers are exactly the same as Lu Jing's, and their inheritance comes from the same hero. He can shoot huge fireballs and ice balls, and is famous in battles against ferocious beasts. Lu Jing saw Zhang Lan panting and sweating profusely. She couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth and sneered in her heart. "Zhang Lan, you stinky loser, no matter how hard you try, it will be of no use, you will only end up turning into a useless bald man." Yan Qian glanced at it for a few times, couldn't help but sigh, and stopped paying attention to Zhang Lan. After Zhang Lan finished exercising, he found a piece of grass to lie down and began to bask in the sun. At this moment his attributes have reached Constitution, 13. Spirit, 10. Strength, 12. Agility, 12. Potential points, 0.6. If the 4 attributes are added together and exceed 100, he is considered a 2nd-level awakener. He now has 47 attribute points. He can accumulate at least 190 more attribute points in a month. He calculated that before the graduation ceremony, he could at least reach the strength of a 2nd-level awakened person. After the summer vacation, when he was promoted to Sanjiang University, he would be at least a 2nd-level high-level awakened person. The reason why it takes a month to graduate after the awakening ceremony is held is because the number of awakening stones is too small. There is only 1 awakening stone in the entire Jiangnan area, and each high school spends 1 day to go around it for at least half a year. Zhang Lan's school was pretty good. They held the ceremony and graduated in a month. In some high schools, after the ceremony is held, it takes 3 or 4 months to graduate. This month, the school is basically in a herding state. Those who are willing to come to school can come. Those who don't want to come can ask for leave, and the teacher will not say anything. Zhang Lan was interested in the free lunch at the middle school, and it was very plentiful. After doing the Saitama exercise every day, his appetite increased. After lunch, Zhang Lan felt that she still had some energy left, so she did Saitama's exercise method again. If every time he does Saitama's exercise method, he can add 6 points of attributes, then Zhang Lan can exercise all day long and only have a few hours to sleep. It's a pity that after doing it for the 2nd time, it didn't add any attributes to him. It seems that Saitama's training method can only increase his attributes once a day. In the summer of July, when the sun is at its most vicious, the attribute points brought by Superman's talent also increase, reaching the point of 1 point per day. Zhong Lan was immediately stunned. It could still be like this. The stronger the sunlight, the more attributes it would increase. What if the irradiation area increases? As soon as he thought of it, he immediately took off his clothes, leaving only a pair of boxer briefs, lying on the lawn, and actually got 2 attribute points in 1 day. Calculating this, after 1 month, he will get 240 attribute points. Counting his current more than 40 attribute points, he has nearly 300 attribute points, which is already a level that some sophomores cannot reach. However, Zhong Lan's weird behavior has completely become popular on the internet. Every day when I arrive at school, I first run 10 kilometers, then do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and 100 squats. After doing all this, Zhong Lan will take off all her clothes and start to bask in the sun. Went to the cafeteria for lunch at noon. The food was enough for 10 people. Continued to bask in the sun in the afternoon. Originally, Zhong Lan's enthusiasm had not subsided a few days ago. Suddenly, a reporter posted Zhong Lan's daily life online, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. Hey, this little brother is quite inspiring. I'm optimistic about him, maybe he can really achieve something. Pull him down, I'm from the Bureau of Statistics. The person who chooses his talent is not 100 million but tens of millions. No one can reach the 3rd level in his lifetime. Listen clearly, no one. My little brother has a good figure, 8-pack abs, long legs, and bronzed skin. I love him. I have noticed it a long time ago. I save the videos of him exercising every day. You can see that his muscles are getting more and more developed. Auntie really loves him. Guys upstairs, this is the comment section, not the ovulation section. Do you have a brother who wants to chat? Add me on WeChat, 13910X. Is there a charge? ... Such weird behavior gave Zhong Lan 2 more nicknames, Sanjong City Inspirational Brother and Crazy Rice Bucket. Every day, countless girls, ladies, and aunts come to the scene to watch Zhong Lan exercise up close. Zhong Lan's face didn't change, his heart didn't beat, and he did what he had to do. He is going to be a man at the top of the world in the future. If he can't stand even this small scene, he should find a factory to come in and screw the screws as soon as possible. But this group of nymphomaniacs yelling and screaming and taking crazy selfies every day by the playground makes the school really uncomfortable. So the campus was completely sealed off, and non-students were not allowed to enter. Someone even suggested banning Zhong Lan from entering the school to have a meal. Principal's son knew the situation of Zhong Lan's family, so he sighed and suppressed the suggestion. An even more outrageous thing happened. A short video of Zhong Lan exercising could be sold for 200 pieces on the black market. A few months later, Zhong Lan found out that such a thing existed. He was heartbroken. If he had known about it, he would have earned the money himself. Finally, on the day of the graduation ceremony, Lao's son began to give a long and stinky speech on the stage as usual, about life insights and chicken soup for the soul. Parents whose weakness was not in his hands were furious in the live broadcast room. Old pervert son, if you continue to do it, I will smash the windows of your house tonight. Get out of here, showing pornographic videos is better than talking. Don't mention it. It is said that there is a teacher in their school who shows pornographic films in class. Ah, really, who is it? Hey, it's Lao Li, the teacher of the 2nd class. Lao Li was smiling and watching the speech in the live broadcast room. He suddenly froze and covered his old face. Resign, there's nothing left to do. At this moment, Zhong Lan was sitting in the audience. His temperament and physique had undergone earth-shaking changes. A month of hard training has turned his skin a copper color, his face is full of determination, and his exposed arms are all domed with muscles. But it didn't look particularly big. At this moment, his attributes have suddenly reached: Constitution, 73, Spirit, 10, Strength, 72, Agility, 72. Potential points, 60.4. Zhong Lan thought for a while and simply added all his potential points to his spirit. In this way, his attributes became: Constitution, 73, Spirit, 70, Strength, 72, Agility, 72. Potential points, 0.4. Strangely enough, although his attributes have been greatly improved, the Saitama training method takes the same amount of time every time, and he is exhausted after finishing it. There seemed to be some kind of power in his body that kept increasing the difficulty of the training method. But this may be the real Saitama training method. As the physical fitness becomes stronger, the resistance will become stronger day by day. Therefore, daily training can steadily provide attribute points. This scene was seen by classmate Zhong Lan, who immediately started to laugh at him. Haha, look, Zhong Lan is still out of breath after running 10 kilometers every day. I'd say that talent is a scam. Yeah, look at how exhausted he is after doing push-ups. It's really funny. Lu Jing was a little worried when she saw Zhong Lan working so hard. But when she saw that Zhong Lan was so exhausted after completing a few sets of training, she immediately smiled contemptuously and never took him seriously again. After she awakened her A-level talent, her potential value increased steadily at a rate of 0.1 every day. She could get 3 attribute points in a month, which is 36 attribute points in a year. Her speed is considered very strong among A-level talents. But how could these talents compare to Zhong Lan's talents? Zhong Lan tested it privately and found that he could hit 4,000 kilograms with a single punch and easily break a 5 mm thick steel plate. Running at a speed of 100 meters within 3 seconds, exhaling slightly forcefully can cause fluctuations in the air that are visible to the naked eye. His physical defense is even more amazing. Zhong Lan tested it at home and burned his palms with flames, but he only felt a little hot. The kitchen knife could only leave a light white mark on his skin. If he were to undergo a warrior evaluation now, he would be at least the 2nd level high level, and already infinitely close to the 3rd level. And all of this is just the result of his 1 month of training. It's strange to say that with such exaggerated physical strength, he has not become a muscular tyrant, but his muscle lines are smoother and his body is more well-proportioned. The reason for this is probably due to Saitama's talent. In the original work, although teacher Saitama's body contains the power to destroy heaven and earth, his muscles are not big. Zhong Lan is confident that he will reach the level of a 3rd level or even 4th level expert within a year. Lao Sun finally finished his speech and concluded with unfinished meaning. Gentlemen, let us fight for the rise of mankind. There was sparse applause from the audience, and some people even awakened their falsetto talents and made eerie sounds. Get out of here, no one wants to hear you compete. Lao Sun shook his head and thought. This class of students is not easy to manage. Then comes the announcement of university admissions, which is also a critical moment to measure the strength of a school. Wagwo University is headed by Modu University and Imperial University, followed by key universities and ordinary universities, and finally private universities. In Zhong Lan's current class, both Modu University and Imperial University admitted 1 person to number 46 middle school, and Zhong Lan knew both of them. Lu Jing Modu University, Yanqian Modu University. Zhong Lan's heart moved. They were admitted to these 2 universities with their A-level talents. It seemed that their talents were very strong. Talent level is defined by the strongest person who has appeared under that talent. Zhong Lan is confident that in the near future, teacher Saitama's talent will be promoted to the 1st place in S class. With superhuman talent, if conditions permit, he can tie for 1st place. Just kidding, these 2 talents are at D level, and I, Zhong Lan, am the first to refuse to accept them. Lao Sun read it out one by one. Among the remaining students, 23 entered key universities, 127 went to ordinary universities, and 1 went to a private university. When I heard that there was a person from a private university, the playground burst into laughter. Because of the final ranking of universities, the lifespan of private universities is 1 year, and there is no exception. Private universities will be forced to disband in 1 year. In Blue Star, China, those who are willing to go to private universities are mentally ill. Zhong Lan heard people around him talking. What idiot would go to a private university? Haha, I don't know either. It's funny. What do you think? Is the internet disconnected in this village? From enrollment to giving up. Ha ha ha, it amused me to death. Zhong Lan smiled lightly. You think I am stupid, I also think you are blind. Saitama Sensei and Superman Sensei's talents, you are so stupid to put them in D level. Something even more outrageous is yet to come. The school even created an honor roll. Which student goes to which university is clearly written on the list. There is also a hierarchy system. Modu Imperial University is the supreme king. Key universities are eternal diamonds. Ordinary universities are shining platinum. Private universities are stubborn bronze. Zhong Lan secretly prayed, "No, please don't write my name." He was secretly lucky that maybe he was not on the list. Because the admission notice sent to him by Principal Yu Ning was handwritten in front of him and did not go through the postal system, it should not be known to the school. But reality slapped him hard in the face, the kind that slapped him back and forth repeatedly. All students who are admitted to college must register in the national system. How could he become the fish that slipped through the net? At the bottom of the honor list, the name Zhonglan is closely combined with Sanjiang United Private University. After the students watched the honor roll, some even laughed like pigs on the spot. Ah ha ha ha, it's Zhonglan. No wonder, I said who would go to a private university. Goose, 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 you're kidding me to death. It turns out to be Brother Fantong. It makes sense. It's really a shame for me to appear on the same list as his. I'm going to ask the teacher to have my name wiped off. Ha ha ha, a year later, a bald man had no choice but to drop out of school. Ha ha ha, don't make me laugh. My aunt is already laughing. Zhonglan smiled calmly in the distance. With his current physical condition, he could hear clearly even though he was dozens of meters away. He can also imagine that when he crushes the whole world with his invincible posture in the future, these people must have very complicated feelings. Still the same sentence, 30 years to the east of Hedong, 30 years to the west of Hexi, don't bully young people into poverty. Zhong Lan originally wanted to grow up like this and become invincible in the world. But the next thing happened, and he quickly realized that this world would not give him much time to grow. Zhong Lan had just finished the Saitama exercise in the morning and was lying on the roof of his house basking in the sun, with his attributes slowly increasing. Zhong Lan stretched out contentedly. Suddenly a loud siren sounded in the city. In the streets and alleys, it keeps playing. Alarm, alarm, demon-level ferocious beasts are invading. Please go to the nearest underground shelter immediately. Zhong Lan's mother poked her head out of the house and shouted regardless of her appearance. Son, come down quickly, the beast is coming. Later, Zhong Lan saw how powerful the ferocious beasts in this world were in the shelter. Although everyone was in a shelter more than 10 meters underground, the entire shelter was trembling with the invasion of vicious beasts. Gravel and gravel kept falling from the roof, as if it might collapse at any time. The only TV in the shelter was broadcasting the invasion of vicious beasts in real time. A mountain-like demon-level ferocious beast is wandering in Sanjiang City. Its appearance is similar to the Komodo dragon, but its size is hundreds of times larger. Its whole body is covered with blue scales, and its limbs are as thick as the piers of an overpass. Wherever it goes, houses collapse immediately like building blocks. Even buildings with more than 10 floors cannot resist its advance. Some humans who were too late to escape into the shelter were discovered by the ferocious beasts. With just a roar, the fleeing humans spurted out blood and collapsed to the ground. Then the vicious beast rolled it into its mouth with its barbed tongue. Human beings are as insignificant as ants in front of this ferocious beast. There was silence in the shelter. His sister Zhang Shui buried her head in Zhong Lan's chest and cried. Brother, I'm afraid. Zhong Lan stroked his sister's hair and comforted her. Don't be afraid, my brother is here, nothing will happen. Someone said indignantly. Why did the demon-level ferocious beast suddenly break into the city? What do the border guards do for food? I heard that this ferocious beast broke into the city directly from the ground and bypassed the border protection zone, so it was not discovered. My home is completely gone. Look, the troops are coming, this beast is dead. Sanjiang City's security forces have been dispatched. Planes and tanks drove directly into the city and opened fire directly on the demon-level beasts. The powerful firepower was unleashed on the demon-level beast, but it couldn't even break through its scales. Instead, it swung its tail and destroyed a large area of ground weapons. It spit out a long-tongue message and directly penetrated a fighter jet. In just a few minutes, the Sanjiang City guards suffered heavy casualties in front of the demon-level ferocious beasts. Human thermal weapons can no longer cause harm to demon-level beasts. I don't know who it was, but he said in a low voice. There was deathly silence in the shelter, and a mood called despair spread among humans. At this moment, a figure flew in the air. After getting closer, it was clear that it was a human woman. She was wearing a cheongsam and her long hair was flying. It's Ms. Yu. It's her. How could she come to a small place like Sanjiang City? Great, we are saved. People around me kept exclaiming. Everyone swept away their decadent emotions and revealed the joy of birth in their words. Zhang Lan was shocked. Ms. Yu, in the talent manual, the powerful human awakener who awakened the S1 talent. One of the 3 emperors of China, an 8th level awakener, the strongest human being in the world. I saw Ms. Yu stretching out her right hand, and her whole body was emitting green light. The next moment, the huge demon-level beast was surrounded by green light. Then, the huge body rose from the ground. It struggled hard and let out an earth-shattering roar. But it didn't help at all. The green light seems weak, but it is indestructible. No matter how it twists, it cannot escape from the green light. Ms. Yu slowly clenched her palms. The demon-level ferocious beast was slowly compressed into a sphere, getting smaller and smaller. Finally, there was a loud bang in the air, and blood was sprinkled all over the sky. A powerful demon-level ferocious beast was completely wiped out by Ms. Yu without any effort, not even the scum was left. Ms. Yu nodded at the garrison below, then raised her head, her whole body emitted green light, turned into a green light, broke through the sky, and disappeared completely. Cheers erupted in the shelter. Too powerful. With her here in China, we will never have to fear attacks from ferocious beasts. Ms. Yu, I will always be the god in my heart. Zhang Lan also clenched his fists. The complacency he had felt as his attributes gradually improved in the past few days completely disappeared without a trace. At this moment, he was still so weak that even if a demon-level beast invaded, he would hide in the shelter. I am still too weak, and the way to quickly become stronger is through the spiritual realm. Zhang Lan decided to report to the university tomorrow to see if there was any way to enter the spiritual realm in advance. I am a special admission student, so I can register a few days in advance, which is very reasonable. The next day Zhang Lan came to the admission notice, the location of Sanjiang City United Private University. The building in front of him suddenly made him doubt his life. I read the admission notice several times, and it was right, number 77, Changjiang Road. Go into 3 small alleys, turn left at the end of the road, and go straight for 1,000 meters. No problem, this is the way to go. But the red brick and white-walled bungalow in front of me didn't look like a university at all, and the signboard at the door clearly said Sanjiang Leather Factory. While he was doubting, a middle-aged man wearing an apron and holding an iron pot came out of the room. Although he was dressed very poorly, his deep eyes and elegant temperament still made Zhang Lan recognize the man in front of him. Man. Zhang Lan hesitated and called the middle-aged man's name. Ning Zhengxin. Hearing someone calling his name, Ning Zhengxin looked over and followed the sound. His hands shook and he almost dropped the iron pot on the ground. Ah, Zhang Lan, why are you here? When Zhang Lan saw that it was indeed him, he couldn't help but cover his forehead and complained in his heart. Very good, so what am I expecting? It's already good for a newly established private university to be of this scale. The originally excited mood suddenly became as calm as dead water. It's okay, I'm just passing by, you can continue. Zhang Lan turned around and left. Ning Zhengxin calmly said calmly. Don't get excited. Do you want to listen to me first? This is what happened. 10 minutes later, Zhang Lan was even more speechless. You're saying that the owner of this tannery factory and his sister-in-law ran away and gave you the entire factory, and you plan to renovate it into a university, right? Ning Zhengxin pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses, nodded, and said matter-of-factly. Otherwise, give me a reasonable reason. What a liar, you, the owner of Zhongnan Leather Factory ran away with his sister-in-law, such an old excuse, do you think I am a 3-year-old child? Zhang Lan covered his forehead. He could imagine that one day, some unscrupulous reporter would discover that Sanjiang United Private University was in such a horrible state. He will definitely become the laughingstock of the entire network again. Forget it, I shouldn't have expected anything in the first place. Zhang Lan suddenly felt that it would be better to go to the construction site to move bricks. He waved his hand and turned to leave. At this moment, a soft voice came from his ears. Dad, have any students come to register? Chapter 11. Zhang Lan's eyes lit up, and a girl came happily from the house. She has jet black hair, no makeup, and picturesque eyebrows. Wearing a simple gray-green sweater and shorts, revealing a pair of long legs, she has a youthful atmosphere. Ning Zhengxin introduced. This is my daughter, Ning Tong, who is also a freshman at Sanjiang University. You will be classmates by then. Zhang Lan sneered, hee, you want to use a honey trap. Sorry, I have never seen any beautiful women in my previous life, wearing clothes, wearing various kinds of clothes, not wearing clothes, and not wearing any kind of clothes. I have long been immune to beautiful women. He snorted, turned and left. Ning Zhengxin said loudly behind him. In view of Zhang Lan's excellent qualifications, I have decided to give Zhang Lan a scholarship of 2,000 yuan every semester. Zhang Lan paused, then walked out firmly. Ning Zhengxin continued to increase prices. Full tuition and free room and board during college. Zhang Lan gritted his teeth. This old thief must have figured out the situation in my family clearly, and every move hits home. Poverty is Zhang Lan's most pressing problem right now. His increasingly horrifying appetite means that as soon as he graduates from high school, his family will soon be destitute. During the summer vacation, Zhang Lan planned to find a construction site and work for 2 months, while exercising and saving some money for tuition. He has no idea what to do after school. You can't go to school and work at a construction site at the same time. What old thief? Ning said immediately moved Zhang Lan. He turned around sharply, his expression sincere. Principal Ning, actually, I took a closer look and found that our school is quite picturesque, with particularly good feng shui. It doesn't matter whether it's money or not. I just like the style of the school. There is no way, Ning Zhengxin gave too much. Ning Tong pursed her lips and smiled, and she greeted Zhang Lan. Come in and have a glass of water before you leave. Zhang Lan wanted to see what kind of medicine Principal Ning was selling in the gourd, so she followed Ning Tong into the leather factory, no, the teaching building of Sanjiang City University. The decoration in the house is simple, nothing special, and there is only one classroom. There were more than a dozen desks inside. Zhang Lan pinched her teeth and felt her balls hurt. Principal, are there only a dozen students in our school? His original intention was to tease Ning Zhengxin, but unexpectedly, Ning Zhengxin nodded and said. Yes, Zhang Lan, how did you figure it out? Are you so perceptive? Zhang Lan was speechless for a moment. So, you just want to rely on a dozen people to play in the National League. What about teacher? You won't tell me that you are the only one. Ning Zhengxin's eyes widened in surprise and he praised Zhang Lan seriously. Classmate Zhang Lan, I now believe that your talent must be a keen intuition, and you guessed it right again. Zhang Lan was completely speechless and turned around to leave. He made up his mind that no matter how ridiculous Ning Zhengxin was, he would never look back. Ning Zhengxin chuckled. If I said that I was once a 7th-level master of China, and my daughter awakened an S-level hidden talent, and her ability can manipulate gravity and space, would you still leave? S-level hidden talent. The ability to manipulate gravity and space. In this way, Ning Tong's inherited hero should be Blast. The mysterious number 1 S-class hero in the world of One Punch Man. Zhang Lan couldn't help but feel something in her heart when she heard this. If this was the case, then Sanjiang City University would be a good choice. Moreover, the tuition is free, and I have a junior sister who is fair-skinned, beautiful and long-legged. Zhang Lan turned around and said firmly. Actually, I just felt like I have a connection with this place. Father and daughter Ning both rolled their eyes. Zhang Lan said in a deep voice. Principal, I need an explanation. Your daughter has such a strong talent. Why should she start her own school? Wouldn't joining Imperial University or Shanghai University be a better choice? Ning Zhengxin waved to Zhang Lan and whispered in his ear. If I still have 7th level strength, I will definitely let her go to a regular university. There is a secret. Don't tell others. Some talents are forbidden in this world. When Zhang Lan heard the news, his pupils suddenly shrank violently. What? Talent is forbidden? What if there is a student who awakens this talent? Will he be killed? Zhang Lan looked at Ning Zhengxin. Ning Zhengxin nodded. There is an organization called Divine Punishment. They will use any means to kill people who have awakened these talents. If I let my daughter go to a public university, it is very likely that she will not survive even one semester. In this way, Ning Zhengxin founded Pheasant University and let his daughter study at this university. All of this has a reasonable explanation. Zhang Lan immediately looked around vigilantly. No one was watching me and trying to take away my talent. Fortunately, I didn't show any abnormality these days. Ning Zhengxin looked strange and confused. My daughter is the only one in danger. Why are you so nervous? Your D-level talent is purely for comedy. No one will want to take away your talent. Zhang Lan gritted his teeth, and the veins on his temples bulged. Principal, if you talk like that, you could easily die suddenly. Do you know that? Ning Zhengxin laughed, patted Zhang Lan on the shoulder and said, I have examined you and you are a good boy, so I will reveal this secret to you. With the guidance of me, a former 7th level master, you will be able to successfully pass the spiritual realm dungeon and even achieve the top 100 in the National League. Ning Zhengxin said again, by the way, there's one more thing. I plan to make you a super master, the one who has awakened dual talents, to cover up my daughter's S-level talents. Ah, Zhang Lan was stunned. Principal, aren't you trying to kill me? Your daughter's talent is certainly precious, but what I have awakened are 2 other super heaven-defying talents. If your daughter's talent is considered a giant panda, it is on the verge of extinction. Then my talent can only be described as a dinosaur, which is extinct. Who is covering whom? Zhang Lan quickly declined. Principal, my talent is also very precious. Otherwise, you should find someone else. After Ning Zhengxin heard this, his facial muscles twitched, and he suddenly burst into laughter. Ahaha, your talent is precious, ahaha. I'm sorry, Zhang Lan, I shouldn't laugh, but I just can't hold it back, haha, let me laugh for a while. Even Ning Tong turned away, covered her mouth with her hands, and shrugged her shoulders. Zhang Lan suddenly wanted to use the iron fist of justice to make the father and daughter recognize the reality. He can only comfort himself. Calm down, long-term meal tickets are hard to find now. He asked Ning Tong in a deep voice. How many attribute points do you have now? Ning Tong was stunned and looked at Ning Zhengxin. Ning Zhengxin nodded and said, it's okay. Zhang Lan is an important part of the future plan. You can trust him. Ning Tong then said, my attribute points are Physique 34, Spirit 127, Strength 25, Agility 47, and my talent is S-level talent space manipulation. Zhang Lan was shocked after hearing this. If Ning Tong had just awakened like him, then this attribute and talent would be really unbelievable. It is really possible for Ning Tong to enter the top 100 in the National League next year alone. He thought for a while and decided not to reveal his situation yet. He had not had much contact with the Ning family and his daughter. In the future, if the father and daughter are trustworthy, he will tell them truthfully about his natural abilities. He was looking forward to it, and Lao Ning and Xiao Ning had surprised expressions at that time. Zhang Lan thought for a moment and raised new doubts. But an official event like the National League will definitely be broadcast live across the country. How can I help Ning Tong cover it up? The audience and judges are not fools. Ning Zhengxin nodded and said, the question you asked is a good one, so next, I need you and my daughter to coordinate training. Ning Zhengxin brought Zhang Lan to a training room, which was filled with various exercise equipment and testers. Ning Zhengxin pointed to an instrument that looked like a boxing target and said to Zhang Lan, you try to punch at full force. Zhang Lan said cautiously. Principal, how much force can this instrument withstand? Ning Zhengxin glanced at him doubtfully and said, about 3,000 kilograms. Why do you ask? It seems you can attack more than 3,000 kilograms. Zhang Lan chuckled and tried to hit the target with only 1/10 of his strength. The instrument displayed a number 386. Ning Zhengxin nodded and boasted casually. Well, it's pretty good to have this power just after awakening. Hit it again with the same force. Although Zhang Lan was confused, he did as he was told. He felt keenly that his fist seemed to be wrapped in something and hit the target with a loud bang. The instrument displays a number 2287. Zhang Lan understood something instantly. He looked at Ning Tong. Ning Tong's pupils turned blue, her hair danced without the wind, and she nodded to him with a smile. Ning Zhengxin praised. Very good. You guys cooperated so well the first time. Now you understand, Zhang Lan. Zhang Lan nodded. He understood that Ning Tong, a girl, had the ability to enhance others. He originally only used 400 kilograms of force, but with Ning Tong's assistance, it became 2,300 kilograms. In this way, during the National League, he can easily use power several times greater than his own strength just by showing off, thus creating the illusion that he is very strong. To hide the fact that the real thigh is Ning Tong. Although this strategy is good, it doesn't work on Zhang Lan. Others pretend to be strong, but he is really strong. He can hit more than 4,000 kilograms without Ning Tong's assistance. Neither of the two talents he awakened is inferior to the S-level hidden talents. Even more precious than Ning Tong's talent. Zhang Lan is confused. Otherwise, Principal, you'd better find someone else. Ning Zhengxin smiled bitterly. There is no one else. The other students are all from the elemental, restoration and spiritual systems. Only you are from the strengthening system, so you can cooperate with Ning Tong, and the vision you have when you awaken can be disguised as dual talents. Zhang Lan was speechless. Principal, I'm not pretending to have dual talents. I really have dual talents. But he knew that no matter how much he said now, Lao Ning would not believe him. Zhang Lan thought about it carefully and realized that Lao Ning's idea was good, but others might not follow his plan. A daughter of a 7th-level powerhouse with unknown talents and a loser with D-level talents. No one would regard someone with awakened D-level talents as a big deal. Zhang Lan remembered his main purpose and asked Ning Zhengxin. Principal, I want to enter the spiritual realm in advance. Is there any way? Ning Zhengxin looked him up and down and said doubtfully. Why are you so anxious? The spiritual realm is very dangerous and people might die. If you enter at your level, aren't you going to die? Zhang Lan immediately wanted to take out his iron fist and blow up the tester to prove himself. But he still held back, and the muscles on his face were beating as he said. I want to get in touch with my junior sister more, and by the way, I can see what the spiritual realm looks like. Ning Zhengxin nodded and said. You were right. After all, shooting moving targets and fixed targets are very difficult. He said with a solemn expression. Then I'll start a little discussion with you two in advance and explain the precautions and reward methods of the spiritual realm. Zhang Lan suddenly concentrated his attention. Not everyone has the opportunity to receive the words and deeds of a 7th-level master. Don't look at Ning Tong's long legs, just look at Lao Ning, a former 7th-level master. Sanjiang United Private University is worth attending. Ning Zhengxin said with a heavy expression. The spiritual realm is in a mysterious and unknown space. The spiritual realm most likely appeared on the blue star together with the ferocious beasts and awakening meteorites. The first batch of awakened people entered the spiritual realm without any rules and suffered heavy casualties. Later, through the slow exploration of awakened people around the world, the spiritual realms were divided into difficulties and types. Currently, there are 35 spiritual realms that have been discovered, and there are 65 unexplored spiritual realms, for a total of 100 spiritual realms. Quote, the university can help you to safely and controllably transport you to the spiritual realm corresponding to your strength, so that newcomers can survive to the maximum extent. This is the important meaning of going to university. Awakened people must enter the spiritual realm at least once a year in order to maintain their talents, otherwise their talents will slowly disappear. As for Zhang Lan, it is very undesirable for you to enter in advance. There are countless terrifying monsters in the spiritual realm. If everyone enters together, the chance of survival will be greater. If 1 or 2 people enter, they will definitely die. After clearing the spiritual realm, potential points will be awarded based on performance. The first 10 spiritual realms will not exceed 500. The later the spiritual realm is, the more difficult it is and the higher the reward will be. If you die in the spiritual realm, you will also die completely, so never underestimate any spiritual realm. The Warriors Association divides warriors by realm based on the number of spiritual realms they have cleared. Each 10th realm is a level. A warrior in the 1st realm and a strong man in the 11th realm are not the same at all. After saying that, Ning Zhengxin showed off his certification mark made of gold, with a few big characters written on it, 26 realm powerful. According to Zhang Lan's understanding, The most powerful warrior has now passed the 35th realm and is challenging the 36th realm. Zhang Lan nodded. After listening to Lao Ning's words, he had a clear understanding of the spiritual realm. What he said to Lao Ning was not in vain, not to mention that Lao Ning had cleared 26 spiritual realms. He didn't have to worry about the guide to the spiritual realm dungeon before the 7th level. Ning Zhengxin said again, Zhang Lan, you come here for an hour every day and train more with Ning Tong. In the future, you can form a team to enter the spiritual realm. I want you and Ning Tong to become partners. Zhang Lan couldn't help but glance at Ning Tong's smooth and white thighs, and nodded. Ning Tong smiled softly and said, lunch is ready by chance. Zhang Lan, why don't you eat some together? Half an hour later, the Ning family's father and daughter looked at the empty dining table with dull eyes. Zhang Lan had eaten their rations for half a month. Ning Zhengxin began to doubt life and said, daughter, have I hired the wrong person? Is this the kind of food a human being can have? Ning Tong nodded. Zhang Lan's appetite was worthy of the title of rice cook. Zhang Lan was in a good mood as he walked home. He originally thought it was a pheasant university, but now it looks like he might have actually earned it. Even Demon City and Imperial University may not be able to hire 7th level experts as lecturers. Time flies, and 2 months have passed in the blink of an eye. Tomorrow is the first day of college. Zhang Lan did not relax all day long. He insisted on Saitama's exercise method every morning, went to have lunch at noon, and trained with Ning Tong in the afternoon. Now his attributes have been reached. Physique, 195. Spirit, 70. Strength, 194. Agility, 194. Potential points, 112. Zhang Lan thought for a while, and simply added up all other attributes to 200 points except for spirit, so that it would look more comfortable. Constitution, 200. Spirit, 165. Strength, 200. Agility, 200. Potential points, 0. He is only one step away from a 4th level powerhouse. It only took him 3 months to go from a mortal to a 3rd level powerhouse. On the day of the opening ceremony, Zhang Lan came to Sanjiang City Leather Factory early. I don't know when Lao Ning changed the brand name to Sanjiang United Private University. The courtyard is also neatly kept, with flowers, trees and plants planted. There is also a goldfish pond built in the courtyard, which looks quite like a paradise. Except for him, all other students in the classroom have arrived, a total of 16 people. I don't know where Ning Zhengxin came from to trick so many students. But their talents are all average, and only 3 of them are slightly better. One person is named Ren Peng, with a round and chubby face, his eyes narrow into slits when he smiles, and he has awakened AC level talent in the elemental system. The other person is named Zhang Xinghe. He is tall, burly and unsmiling. At first glance, he looks like an uninteresting person. His talent is level C in the recovery system. Zhang Lan couldn't help but look Zhang Xinghe up and down. He was so tall and thick, and he had awakened his talent for recovery. Could it be that he was a crook? Zhang Xinghe felt the strange gaze from Zhang Lan. He clenched his fists, lowered his head and said in a low voice, I don't want to either. The talent I want to match is the strengthening steel fist, but I tried several times but failed. In the end I had to choose the restoration healing fountain. There is also a girl named Tang Yu, who has big eyes and short hair and looks a little shy. He lowered his head after saying a few words to Zhang Lan, his face flushed with embarrassment. What she awakened was AB level spiritual talent, telekinesis. Before even chatting for a few words, Ning Zhengxin hurried into the classroom with a serious expression. This year the spiritual realm dungeon has been opened early. Today you can enter the first spiritual realm dungeon. I will explain to you the precautions in the dungeon. Ren Peng raised his hand to ask a question. Principal, why is the spiritual realm dungeon opened in advance? Ning Zhengxin said, the opening time of the spirit realm dungeon is not fixed. It may be earlier or later. Everyone will know it in the future. Now, I will explain to you the monsters in the dungeon. He opened his notebook and projected pictures on the blackboard. Just looking at the appearance of this monster, it is very similar to humans. It also has a head and limbs, and even the facial features are similar. However, the monster's face is very scary, with rotten skin, white eyes, and pupils showing hollow darkness, without any life. The monster's mouth was wide open and twisted, and its teeth were covered with bloodshot eyes and pieces of flesh. The students took a few glances and frowned. Soon they would face this disgusting monster. Some timid students even showed scared expressions. Only a few students can maintain a stable mentality, such as Ning Tong. Zhong Lan was different. His expression was the most exaggerated, dumbfounded. Because he is so familiar with this kind of monster. Isn't this a zombie? Ning Zhengxin had been observing the expressions of the students in the audience. Seeing the calm expressions of Ning Tong, Renpeng and others, he nodded secretly. When he saw Zhong Lan's expression, he couldn't help but frown and ask Zhong Lan by name. "What's your expression? Are you scared?" Zhong Lan suddenly looked confused. "I was obviously shocked." "Okay." A timid female classmate raised her hand to ask a question. "Principal, can I not participate in this instance? This monster is too scary." Ning Zhengxin sighed and said, "Everyone, from the day you choose to awaken your talent, you should have thought of this situation. Your journey to the spiritual realm is inevitable. If you don't participate, you will slowly lose your awakening talent. In that case, it is better not to wake up in the first place. At least you can go to a technical school to learn a skill and support your family." Students, the first copy has been verified by countless seniors and is the simplest copy with the highest survival rate. If you can't even pass this copy, it means you are not suitable to take this path. Ning Zhengxin looked around with a serious expression. "Now, if you want to quit, raise your hands and I will arrange for you to study in a technical school." He waited for a moment and saw no one raised their hands. He nodded with satisfaction and even used Zhong Lan as an example. "Look at Zhong Lan, everyone should know him from the internet. He has awakened AD level talent. Although he was stunned just now, he persevered. His talent makes him no different from ordinary people. Even so, he has not given up. Everyone must learn this spirit from him. Since you have chosen the path of an awakened person, you must go on unswervingly." Ning Zhengxin's words were impassioned and moved people to tears. But the person involved, Zhong Lan, just wanted to scold her. "Old Ning, you have gone too far. If you hit someone instead of slapping someone in the face, if you expose my shortcomings in public, how will I be able to gain a foothold in the class in the future?" Was I frightened? I'm obviously shocked. Even if you think about Tongtong's fair skin, beauty and long legs, and the fact that you take care of my life and don't charge my tuition fees, you are still talking like this. It's not impossible. Keeping a low profile and surviving and developing are Zhong Lan's current primary goals. Lao Ning is having fun with that guy, let him be. You know your own level best. If Zhong Lan really wants to go crazy now, few people in Sanjiang City can stop him. He won the small first-level copy as easily as drinking water and eating. Ning Zhengxin worked on the computer again and started playing the video. The following is the attack method of this monster. It is a video made by the illusion master based on my memory. It is very precious. Please pay attention. The monster in the video crouched down, roared, and began to charge, slightly faster than ordinary people running. After contacting the target, it began to attack the target with its nails and teeth crazily. Ning Zhengxin pressed the pause button and said, "This kind of monster has slightly higher strength and agility than normal people, and it carries a virus. If you are scratched or bitten by it, you will be infected by the virus. Within 72 hours, you will turn into a monster like them. When the spiritual realm is closed, you will not be able to return and will be completely left in the spiritual realm." Zhong Lan confirmed through the video that this was a zombie, and it was a zombie from the American TV series The Walking Dead. There are two types of zombies he knows. One is the zombies in Resident Evil, which can evolve into special zombies such as tyrants and lickers. There is another type of zombie from The Walking Dead, which is just a little harder to kill and has no special abilities. If it were a zombie from the American TV series The Walking Dead, this copy would be too simple. Ning Zhengxin said, "One thing to say here is that the monsters in the dungeon must be killed by your own ability to be considered your kill. Using some tricky means, such as explosives and heavy weapons, to kill the monster will not be counted as your effective kill." The students suddenly became nervous. They were all rookies who had just awakened and had limited attributes. "I'm afraid I won't be able to kill a few monsters by myself. If I'm accidentally scratched or bitten by a monster, I'll be completely left in the dungeon. A classmate asked, Principal, can we put on armor and enter? This way we won't be afraid of monster attacks even if we come into close contact. Ning Zhengxin said, the question raised by this classmate is a good one. Please remember that all spiritual realm dungeons and all items cannot be brought into the dungeon. Otherwise, it will be greatly reduced for humans to conquer the dungeon. Zhang Xinghe asked, Principal, do these monsters have any weaknesses that can help us kill them better? Ning Zhengxin smiled and nodded. This is the right person to ask. As a former 7th level expert, I can tell you that a monster's brain is its only weakness. As long as the brain is destroyed, the monster will die completely. Zhang Lan rolled his eyes when he saw Ning Zhengxin passing on this common sense to everyone as if it were a treasure. The weakness of zombies is in their brains. Isn't this something everyone on Earth knows? However, it was normal for him to think about it from the perspective of others. There was no information on the spiritual realm copy on the market. It should be monopolized by high-level officials, causing the people to be ignorant of the dangers of spiritual realm copies. As a former 7th level powerhouse, Ning Zhengxin's ability to know this information was indeed an advantage. There are no zombie movies or TV series in this world, so it is normal for them to not know the weaknesses of zombies. Seeing that the students all looked heavy, Ning Zhengxin encouraged everyone at the right time. Although zombies are dangerous, their rewards are also rich. Every time you kill a zombie, you can get 1 potential point, which can be freely distributed among the 4 attributes. Upon hearing this sentence, the students' eyes suddenly lit up. They have already experienced how difficult it is to improve attribute points. It is absolutely impossible to quickly improve attributes by relying on conventional exercise methods. A few months after awakening, many people try their best to consume the meat of various ferocious beasts every day. They spend a lot of money to increase their attributes a little bit, which is pitiful. This is someone who has awakened S level and A level talents. Talents below A level will hardly increase their attribute points no matter how hard they train. This is why Lao Li originally encouraged everyone to awaken talents above a level. Commoner children who have awakened talents below a level have no chance to grow up. Either they will die in the spiritual realm, or they will be unable to enter the spiritual realm and slowly lose their talents. Of course, except for Zhang Lan, his attributes are almost the same as those he got for nothing. Apart from eating a little more and losing a little hair, there are no side effects. In 3 months, Zhang Lan's thick hair has become thinner and thinner. Every day when he wakes up, he can find a lot of hair next to his pillow. This is a side effect of becoming bald and getting stronger. As for the Spirit Realm dungeon, if you kill a zombie, you can get a potential point. This is simply the best opportunity to bend down and pick up diamonds. Killing hundreds of them is worth decades of hard training. The students suddenly became excited. Looking at the monster in the video, they felt that it was not so scary anymore. Ning Zhengxin said, you can form a team in the first Spirit Realm dungeon. 2 people form a team. Let's form a team now. After entering the dungeon, you will be randomly transported to different locations. As classmates, if you meet each other, please help each other. Mutual aid in Spirit Realm copies is allowed. Zhang Lan's heart moved and he turned to look at Ning Tong. He knew that the principal meant these words to him and Ning Tong. After testing, the combination of him and Ning Tong has reached the level of a 2nd level powerhouse. This was when Zhang Lan only used 1/10 of his force each time, but now it was 1/50th of his force. If Zhang Lan lets go and is assisted by Ning Tong's space power, he should be able to directly reach the 4th level of advanced combat power. The classmates looked at each other. They had just entered school and didn't even remember each other's names. How could they form a team in a hurry? Ning Zhengxin coughed. I know that everyone has just entered school and is not familiar with each other, so I made a team list for everyone. For the first dungeon, everyone will form a team according to my list. After you get familiar with it, you can adjust it freely. Ning Zhengxin started reading names in groups of 2, and soon all the students formed a team to finish. As Zhang Lan expected, he and Ning Tong were in a group. Ning Zhengxin nodded with satisfaction, looked at his watch, and said, there are still 5 minutes until the Spirit Realm dungeon opens. Do you have any questions? Zhang Lan raised his hand and asked. Old Principal, I would like to ask if there is any limit on the potential points obtained in the spiritual realm copy. If I kill all the morning monsters, how many potential points can I get? Ning Zhengxin patted his forehead and said, I forgot to mention just now that there is an upper limit on the potential points that can be obtained from each spiritual realm. The upper limit for the first dungeon is 100 points. If you kill 100 monsters, you will be rewarded at one time at the end of the dungeon. Zhang Lan suddenly lost interest. It was only 100 points, which was my attribute gain in half a month. Forget it, it's better than nothing. Another classmate asked a question. Principal, how long do you need to stay in a copy of the spiritual realm? Ning Zhengxin said, each dungeon is different. The first dungeon will last for a week. After entering, please be careful to look for supplies and maintain sufficient physical strength. Ning Zhengxin saw that no classmates continued to ask questions and clapped his hands. Okay, let's go to the playground and start teleportation immediately. At the same time, awakened people all over the world are ready, and this new generation's journey to the spiritual realm is about to begin. On the playground of Sanjiang University, there is a large metal circle, which emits a soft orange light that reaches into the sky. Zhang Lan and Ning Tong stood together, holding hands. They were the first group to enter. It's not that Zhang Lan wants to take advantage of the girl, it's mainly that the two of them enter as a team and there must be physical contact. Men and women are different, there is no other place to touch without holding hands. Zhang Lan felt that Ning Tong's little hands were a little soft. He showed a bright smile and comforted Ning Tong. Don't worry, my brother is here to keep you safe. Ning Tong was still a little nervous, but when she heard Zhang Lan's words, she suddenly felt a little relieved. Ning Tong had been training with him for the past 2 months, and she was actually vaguely aware of his strength. Once, her childlike innocence got out of hand and she wanted to tease Zhang Lan, so she put a space lock on Zhang Lan's feet. Unexpectedly, Zhang Lan broke away from her restraints easily, as if he didn't feel anything. You must know that her space lock cannot be opened even with 2,000 kilograms of force. From that day on, Ning Tong discovered more and more unreasonable things about Zhang Lan through daily observation. Zhang Lan eats at school every day. He consumes at least 30 calories, but his figure does not change at all. He exercised exactly the same content every day and was exhausted every time. For so many days, he didn't see any improvement. Even an ordinary person who has not awakened his talent should feel more relaxed every day if he exercises every day. These obvious irrationality further showed that Zhang Lan was unusual. Ning Tong has never mentioned this to others. Through these days of getting along, she also knows what kind of person Zhang Lan is. If he wants to tell her, he must tell her. I don't want to say it, but he must have his reasons. Some local students recognized Zhang Lan as the famous inspirational brother and rice tong brother from Sanjiang City a few days ago. Now he actually teamed up with Ning Tong, the goddess, school belle and princess of Sanjiang University, and even held hands, and he was immediately indignant. Ah, it's Zhang Da's loser. How could he team up with goddess Tong? It's totally unreasonable. What do you think the principal is thinking about letting senior sister Tong and brother Rice Tong form a team? Aren't you afraid that your daughter will be in danger? I heard that Tong School Beauty has reached the 2nd level. I haven't got this copy yet. Zhang Lan is really lucky. AD level talent awakener can go to college, and Tong School Beauty takes care of him. Zhang Lan and Ning Tong stepped into the circle of light, their figures gradually blurred, and then turned into a stream of light and flew into the sky. Outside the school, several groups of people observed the situation through telescopes, and they reported to different forces. Report, the target has entered the number 1 spiritual realm, the target has entered the number 1 spiritual realm. Ning Zhengxin watched the students entering in 2s and 2s, feeling a little uneasy in his heart. He muttered, I hope Tongtong won't have any problems. I've already hid here, so I won't be targeted again. Principal Ning is usually busy taking care of the school and doesn't have much contact with Zhang Lan. After he lost his talent, his senses were no longer sharp and he did not notice anything unusual about Zhang Lan. In fact, Zhang Lan does a good job of disguising himself every day. No one except Ning Tong, who trains with him every day, notices anything special about him. Also, Who would care about a waste who has awakened AD level talent? ... Zhong Lan held Ning Tong's little hand, as if holding a ball of jelly, soft and warm. A white light flashed before his eyes, and he and Ning Tong came to an unknown space. Judging from the architectural style and street sign text, it should be a foreign street. The streets that were supposed to be busy and bustling with people were now devastated, with all kinds of cars crammed into the streets, some rushing into shops, and some getting stuck in the walls. The streets were filled with garbage and corpses. All kinds of zombies in ragged clothes and hideous faces were walking aimlessly on the streets with weird postures. On the ground not far away, a body whose belly had been chewed out, with only half of its body left, and its organs and intestines leaking all over the floor, slowly twisted and got up. A low growl came from his throat, and he stared at them with gray eyes like the belly of a dead fish. Zhong Lan turned around and looked around, and found that apart from the two of them, there were only zombies scattered around. He turned around to say something to Ning Tong, but his eyes suddenly glazed over. So white and so big, this was his only thought at the moment. Ning Tong was beside him, holding hands with him, both of them naked. Ning Tong's face was expressionless, only a trace of blush appeared on her fair and pretty face, and she said lightly, "So, can you let go of my hand first?" "Ah ha ha, I was so nervous that I forgot about it." Zhong Lan didn't change his expression and let go of Ning Tong's hand, but he couldn't help but glance at Ning Tong. You can't blame him for not having enough concentration. I really didn't expect Ning Tong to develop so well. Zhong Lan felt her nose was hot and almost had nosebleeds. Ning Tong simply blocked her vital parts with her arms and said calmly, "After entering the spiritual realm, this is the state. When you return, your clothes will be returned. In the future, we will form a team to enter the spiritual realm. I hope there will be many opportunities." Zhong Lan saw that the girl was so calm, so he couldn't behave too obscenely. He turned away his eyes and said solemnly, "What to do next?" But in his heart he was frantically giving Lao Ning a thumbs up, saying, "Principal, or father, please accept your son-in-law's knee. You said you would have this benefit a long time ago, and I was still hesitant." Ning Tong said, "Find a place to hide first, otherwise you will be easily exhausted by so many monsters." Zhong Lan asked Ning Tong, "How old is your physique?" Ning Tong said, "My current physique is 34. I don't need to add physique to my talents. I have to add some by relying on the talent points before awakening." Zhong Lan looked at his physique, 200. "Okay, you have big breasts, I'll listen to you." Ning Tong looked at a commercial building in the distance. There was a plaque on it that said supermarket, which translated means supermarket. "Let's go there first. There should be clothes, water and food inside, so that we can be replenished at any time and stay in good condition." Zhong Lan nodded. The army had not moved, and the food and grass went first. Unexpectedly, although this girl Ning Tong is beautiful and has a good figure, her brain is also very useful. Unlike some big-breasted and black-bellied women who only think about Ollie. In the spiritual realm, Lu Jing suddenly sneezed. She looked confused. "Who is cursing me? God is really unfair. Although I, Zhong Lan, am talented, slender, elegant in conversation, polite, respect the old and love the young, and can bend and stretch, I have no other advantages." But compared with Ning Tong, his family situation is still much worse. Encountering a zombie blocking the way, Zhong Lan punched the zombie's head and shattered it. Ning Tong was assisting him with his spatial abilities, so that Zhong Lan didn't get even a trace of blood on his hands. For safety reasons, Ning Tong would rarely take action on her own to prevent anyone from seeing her abilities. According to Principal Ning, her ability is very rare. A few years ago, a freshman awakened the same ability, but died soon after. Zhong Lan regards Ning Tong's ability as enchantment, but in fact, for him, the most important function is to prevent pollution. Ning Tong's spatial ability consumes a lot of mental energy. He can only assist Zhong Lan in about 50 shots, and he has to rest for half a day to recover. If Zhong Lan relied on his physical abilities, he would not be exhausted even if he punched thousands of times. But in the current situation, there is no need to completely expose one's strength. Lao Yinbi's happiness is unimaginable to others. When the two entered the building, the city had already lost power and the house was dark. With her super mental power, Ning Tong can give early warning and point out where zombies are. The dark room also concealed her forced embarrassment. She had just scanned Zhang Lan's body at this moment. The corners of her mouth were slightly raised, and her buttocks were still upright. Zhang Lan no longer had any scruples in the darkness, and finally had a place where he could freely display his power. He didn't use Ning Tong's supernatural power to punch the zombies and their bodies into pieces with one punch. But he didn't know that Ning Tong's mental power of more than 100 points allowed her to clearly perceive everything that happened in the darkness. Ning Tong's eyes widened and her mouth opened wide. She was completely shocked. Zhang Lan punched it, and the whole monster exploded instantly like a rotten tomato, spraying flesh and blood on the wall behind it. It really made her realize what it means to paint a wall with feces. Ning Tong estimated that the power of Zhang Lan's punch was at least 4,000 kilograms. Although Zhang Lan showed terrifying strength inadvertently, Ning Tong was not panicked. I don't know if it's due to talent or mental strength, but she can sense other people's emotions towards her. She had never felt the slightest bit of malice from Zhang Lan, not even when he glanced at her body. Men, it's inevitable. Ning Tong smartly shut her mouth, said nothing, and followed Zhang Lan obediently. In fact, Zhang Lan didn't want to hide it from Ning Tong. As partners, Ning Tong was so smart, it was only a matter of time before she found out. He was worried that Ning Tong would be scared, so he explained. The monsters in this building are very weak. I didn't use much force and they shattered. Ning Tong raised the corners of her mouth and echoed. Yes, I also feel that they are indeed quite weak. The two people came to the supermarket on the underground floor. This place had obviously been visited by many people. Various food and drink packages were scattered on the ground. The outer shelves were basically emptied. The two of them walked around and found nothing. Fortunately, there were still some clothes. After the two put on their clothes, they felt that the distance between them was getting closer. Ning Tong found a closed warehouse door. It was made of thick metal and was almost welded shut in the middle. Even her mental strength was unable to penetrate the door and explore the scene behind it. She told Zhang Lan about this discovery, and Zhang Lan estimated that there was a large amount of daily necessities inside. He just wanted to test his strength and asked Ning Tong to take a few steps back. Zhang Lan's eyes flashed, he shouted low, and punched out, making a loud thud. The whole building trembled, and a deep fist mark appeared on the door. The strength of the warehouse door was beyond Zhang Lan's imagination. He had only used 5 points of force in the blow just now, but he didn't even blow the door away. He suddenly lost his face. He said to Ning Tong, "Stay away." Zhang Lan's eyes flashed, and he used Teacher Saitama's serious punch, attacking with all his strength. With a loud bang, the two doors flew out. The whole building trembled, and large pieces of bricks fell from the roof. After the door opened, low roars came from inside, and countless scarlet light spots emerged in the darkness. Ah! Zhang Lan was confused at the moment. Who the hell is so wicked as to hide a bunch of zombies in a supermarket? Ning Tong's face suddenly turned pale. There were at least thousands of monsters within her sensing range. Deeper in the darkness, there are still many monsters lurking. She whispered to Zhang Lan. Don't alert them. Let's retreat quietly. It will be bad if we are surrounded by them. Hearing this, Zhang Lan raised his eyebrows and retreated. No matter what, these were all living potential points. He is worried that there are not enough zombies to reach the potential points in large numbers. He moved his body and said, "Don't be afraid. You can help me strengthen the shield. I don't need any assistance. Leave the rest to me." Ning Tong didn't ask why. If she didn't need to help Zhang Lan increase her strength, she could maintain the space barrier for at least 4 hours. She nodded, and Zhang Lan instantly felt that her whole body was wrapped in a layer of soft yet solid strength. The reason why Ning Tong was asked to help him add a shield was because, with his current physical condition, there was a high probability that zombies wouldn't even be able to scratch his skin. But if he is infected with the zombie virus, he will be completely left in the spiritual realm. He pursues stability in everything he does, and will not make a move unless he is 99% sure. Zhang Lan moved for a moment and confirmed that Ning Tong's space barrier had no impact on his actions. He kicked his feet on the ground and made a loud bang. He rushed into the pile of zombies and started killing like crazy. In the darkness, Ning Tong could only feel the endless smell of blood spreading, and there were constant sounds of corpses falling to the ground. In order to save energy as much as possible, Zhang Lan gave each zombie a light punch on the head. The strong skulls of these zombies were like watermelons under his fist. They cracked completely with a bang, and white, red, and black sprayed all over the floor. Wabwo, director of the Spiritual Realm Management Bureau, Zhang Anping, looked at a light curtain in front of him and asked the staff around him. Are the spiritual realm detectors not ready yet? The staff member replied, connecting to the spiritual realm, the latest data will be available soon. As he spoke, the large LCD screen in front of Zhang Anping began to display green characters, filling the screen like a waterfall. Then many names were slowly displayed, which was the list of everyone who had entered the first spiritual realm this time. There are 2 people in groups, with a set of numbers behind them that are constantly beating. Some people's names appear in red, indicating that the person has died. Zhang Anping looked at the top 3 names on the screen, Yan Qian and Fang Miao, with the number 23 behind them, and nodded. They were able to kill 23 monsters in the first hour of the spiritual realm, which was indeed good. He ordered to go down. Check which school Yan Qian and Fang Miao are from, and the second-ranked ones, Zhang Shu and Lu Jiahao, the third-ranked ones Lu Jing and Fan Wei are all from that school. After a while, the staff reported. Director, Yan Qian and Fang Miao are freshmen at Kyoto University, Zhang Shu and Lu Jiahao are freshmen at Shanghai University, and Lu Jing and Fan Wei are also freshmen at Shanghai University. Zhang Anping nodded and expressed appreciation. When it comes to the quality of students, we have to look at Mordo University and Kyoto University. 90% of the current 7th-level masters in China come from these 2 universities. The staff nodded and said, indeed, other universities are basically making up the numbers. Even if they go to the battlefield in the future, they will still be cannon fodder and the decisive high-end force. It also depends on the students of these 2 universities. While the 2 were chatting, they suddenly saw a group of names popping in from outside the screen. The numbers behind them, representing the number of monsters to be destroyed, rose from 20 to 100, 200, 300. It is still rising continuously, instantly dragging down Yan Qian and Fang Miao, who were ranked second, by an order of magnitude, with more fractions than the second-ranked ones. Zhang Anping was stunned. He turned to look at the staff and said doubtfully, is there a bug in the spiritual realm detector? How can anyone kill monsters so quickly? There is something wrong with this number. It has increased by 100 and 100. The staff member looked embarrassed and said quickly, okay, Director, let's go check it out right now. Maybe the detector has just come online and there are some bugs, so it's inevitable. Zhang Anping stared at the numbers for a few times, and then ordered another person. Check, this Zhang Lan and Ning Tong are from that university. After a while, Zhang Anping got 2 pieces of news. There are no bugs in the spirit realm detector. If there are bugs, other people's numbers will be messed up. Now only Zhang Lan and Ning Tong's data are abnormal, which is obviously not a problem with the detector. Zhang Lan and Ning Tong are freshmen at Sanjiang United Private University. Zhang Anping was shocked when he heard the name Sanjiang City United Private University. He had never heard of such a university in his more than 10 years as director. He wondered, what kind of university is this? Why have I never heard of it? Fortunately, the staff was well prepared and had roughly checked the situation at Sanjiang University before responding. It's a newly established private university this year. Zhang Anping was even more unbelievable. How could a private university just established this year recruit students? Are there any students today who are stupid enough to go to a private university? Am I hallucinating, or is the world changing too fast? He realized that he might have encountered a major crisis. If the news that Sanjiang Private University won the first place spread, it would have a major impact on the entire Chinese education system. Fortunately, the spiritual realm detector was still in trial operation. As long as he didn't tell anyone, no one else would know the ranking of the spiritual realm this time. Besides, it was just the first day of the spiritual realm. Whether these 2 freshmen could survive to the end was still unknown. Thinking of this, Zhang Anping suddenly felt much more at ease, and he ordered, block the news and tell the outside world that the spiritual realm detector is still being debugged. In spirit realm number 1, Ning Tong was completely stunned. Thousands of zombies behind the Iron Gate were all killed by Zhong Lan's fist in just 10 minutes. In her perception, it seemed as if there was a huge flame burning in the darkness. The tyrannical power of blood made her senses tingle. Zhong Lan restrained his breath and slowly walked out of the huge underground space. This was a parking lot. Who knew it was used to imprison thousands of zombies, which really gave him an advantage. He has never fought so happily since he got Saitama's training method. After killing thousands of zombies, protected by Ning Tong's space barrier, he didn't even get a drop of blood on his body. Zhong Lan smiled and greeted Ning Tong, and was thinking about how to explain his talent. Ning Tong said suddenly, "Actually, what you awakened wasn't a D-level talent. Did you already know that someone could steal the talent, so you chose to hide your talent?" Zhong Lan was worrying about how to explain his talent, but he didn't expect Ning Tong to be so considerate and already figured everything out automatically. He nodded and said, "Let's keep each other's secrets safe." Ning Tong nodded seriously, stretched out her little finger and said seriously, "Hook." Zhong Lan also extended his little finger, and the two of them laughed happily. The same experience made her feel a little more friendly to Zhong Lan. At this moment, in spirit realm number 1, the ground began to tremble, and a huge evil aura descended on the world. There was even a loud voice roaring in everyone's mind. Although they can't understand its words, everyone can understand its meaning. How many times have you continued to slaughter my people, and now it's time for you to pay the price? Zhong Lan was suddenly shocked. It can't be so unlucky. The first time I entered the spiritual realm, the big boss came out. People come to the spiritual realm to kill zombies every year, so you can't blame us. I just came. The same goes for Lao Ning. Why didn't you tell me earlier about such a terrifying monster, so that I could be more prepared? It's not that he's afraid. With his strength and Ning Tong's blessing, even a 4th level expert can fight head-on. The voice roared again. Especially you, that bald guy, I'm going to eat you alive. Immediately afterwards, a huge evil consciousness completely locked Zhong Lan and Ning Tong. Zhong Lan was stunned. No, brother, I just killed thousands of zombies. In the zombie world, a few thousand zombies are not many. It's not appropriate for you to just ignore martial ethics and end up personally. In fact, he was unlucky. The zombie boss has been hiding for a long time. This year, the quantity and quality of his people have reached an unprecedented peak. It decided not to be patient any longer and killed these little bugs that came back every year, letting them taste the fear of death. Zhong Lan felt that the whole building was shaking, and the trend was getting stronger and stronger. He immediately understood that an unknown existence was coming towards him. Out of caution, the correct solution is to retreat first, explore the boss's skills, and then consider how to kill it. He quickly leaned down and said to Ning Tong in a deep voice, "Come up, I'll run on my back." Ning Tong is not Moji either. Her main attributes are all based on spirit. Agility and physical fitness are her weaknesses. Of course, in the future, when her spiritual power exceeds 1000, she will be able to fly in the air, and then her speed will make a qualitative leap. She immediately lay on Zhong Lan's back. Zhong Lan's strength at this moment was so agile that he could fly over walls and walls with his girl. He did not forget to conceal his identity and pulled off 2 pieces of cloth to cover his and Ning Tong's faces. Zhong Lan came outside and was stunned when he saw a monster as huge as a hill in the distance. In front of me is a huge colorful one-eyed starfish, with countless small starfish flying around its body, just like an aircraft carrier carrying countless frigates. The reason why Zhong Lan was stunned was not because this monster was scary, but because he knew this monster. This monster looks like the big boss in Suicide Squad. Zhong Lan was a little skeptical when he saw the zombies, but now that he saw this huge starfish, he was even more sure of what he was thinking. The monsters in spiritual realm number 1 are all from film and television works on Earth. I don't know if the spiritual realm will be the same in the future. Zombies are probably formed when humans are parasitized by small starfish, so it makes sense to say that the one-eyed starfish is its people. Zhong Lan even knew that the key point of the one-eyed starfish was its big watery eye. As long as the eye is broken, it can be killed with one blow. Now he was not in a hurry to take action. He carried Ning Tong on his back and ran away quickly. Although the sea star was powerful, the speed it moved on land was really impressive, not much faster than a caterpillar. Soon he was dragged down by Zhong Lan for more than 10 kilometers. Ning Tong said in Zhong Lan's ear, "My power of space can prevent it from detecting us." Zhong Lan felt the two soft pads on his back. His face was not red, he was not out of breath, and he shook his head calmly and said, "No, I don't train 10 kilometers a day for nothing. Save some strength, observe its weaknesses first, and then find a way to kill him later. I believe the rewards will be richer." Zhong Lan roared in his heart, "Why should I rest? Enjoying this kind of massage, I can live forever." Ning Tong nodded and lay on Zhong Lan's generous back with peace of mind, feeling an unprecedented sense of security. Zhong Lan hugged Ning Tong's long legs and ran even harder. Not only can he run, he can also jump small and large. "Thank you, one-eyed starfish." Even if Zhong Lan could kill the one-eyed starfish now, he would be reluctant to do so. While running, Zhong Lan could feel the favorability of girl Ning Tong, which was rising sharply with the bumps. Zhong Lan didn't slow down until he had shaken the huge starfish out of sight. Ning Tong's face turned red, and she didn't know whether it was because she was nervous or because she was overwhelmed by Zhong Lan. When Haixing saw the target disappear, he immediately let out a shrill scream and vented his anger on the other freshman. Countless small starfish flew out around it, killing the freshmen in the spiritual realm. The zombies seemed to be on stimulants, with their speed and strength greatly increased. Some people were caught off guard and had their faces covered by starfish. After a few seconds, it transformed into a zombie with white eyes and bulging blood vessels on its face. Once they are attacked by a starfish and cannot break away immediately, the starfish will extend its tentacles and sneak into the brain, completely controlling the nerve center. For a time, the mortality rate among freshmen increased dramatically. In the Spiritual Realm Management Bureau, Zhang Anping saw that many names on the large LCD screen turned red, and he immediately roared. "They said it's not a system bug. How could so many freshmen die at once? Go check it out." In previous years, the mortality rate in the number one spiritual realm was only about 5% at most, but just now, it was visually estimated that the mortality rate was at least 15%. As the safest and most reliable dungeon for gaining potential points, Spirit Realm number 1 has never had any problems. Now that there is a sudden large-scale death, Zhang Anping naturally believes that there is something wrong with the newly launched Spiritual Realm detector. In the Spiritual Realm, not far from Zhong Lan and Ning Tong, a team of more than a dozen people gathered together, and the leader, a tall masked man, said, "The target is not far away. After everyone has completed the task, they will go to brush up their potential points. When we meet, we will treat it as if we don't know each other." Another masked man raised his concerns. Would it be impossible to beat him? After all, the target is an S-level talent. The masked man laughed. "According to the latest news, she has just reached the 2nd level, and her partner is a loser who has awakened a D-level talent. If a dozen of us can't beat them, then we might as well go home and sell tofu." This group of people seemed to have heard the funniest news in the world and burst into laughter. D-level talents, are there any idiots who have awakened now? I was a little worried at first, but now I'm 100 million happy. What do you think? Are you tired of teaming up with D-level talents? This group of people were taunting and happy when they suddenly saw a masked man running past them with a young woman on his back. Both groups had their faces covered, and when they first met, they both thought to themselves, "Oh, people who are just trying to make a living." There was also a conversation between the two in my ears. The woman asked the man in surprise, "What are they giggling over there?" The man turned to look at them. "Ignore them, they might be idiots." The dozen or so people suddenly had veins on their temples and clenched their fists, eager to catch up and kill the two of them. Considering that they were about to get close to the target and about to carry out the mission, they suppressed their murderous intent. The masked man took a deep look at Zhong Lan, remembering this figure, and felt fierce in his heart. "Don't let me see you again, otherwise I will make you regret living in this world." He ordered a petite woman next to him. "Predict the target location again." When Zhong Lan heard this, he looked back at the petite woman. The petite woman pressed her fingers on her forehead and closed her eyes. After a while, she opened her eyes and said hesitantly, "It seems that the man and woman who ran over just now are." Zhong Lan was running slowly with Ningtong on his back, and Ningtong had already whispered her request several times. "Classmate Zhong Lan, please let me down. I can walk by myself." Zhong Lan rejected her righteously. "No, what if I get caught up by that monster? You have to stay in top condition and help me at the critical moment. Only in this way can you have the slightest chance of defeating that monster." Ningtong bit her lip and was about to persuade Zhong Lan again, but she heard shouting behind her. "That pair of masked, stop right there." Zhong Lan looked back and saw that it was the dozen masked men he had just seen. He couldn't help but feel happy. These days, there are still people who call themselves great. It seems that you were right, Tong Tong. They are really retarded. Ningtong couldn't help but chuckle, and she whispered into Zhong Lan's ear. "They have a strong intention to kill me, and they should be coming for me." Zhong Lan smiled confidently and dared to target him and Ningtong. "I'm afraid you don't know how to write the word, death. After all, the people who can enter the number one spiritual realm are all freshmen who have just awakened. It is impossible for anyone to surpass him in attributes." Some of the masked men couldn't help but complain. "It seems that we are also masked. Could it be that we ourselves are also scolded?" The leading Gundam masked man thought about it, and it was right. So he roared angrily, "That pair of men and women whose faces are covered with red cloth, stop it." As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Zhong Lan taking out a black cloth and putting it on while running. That pair of men and women whose faces were covered with black cloth. The pair whose faces were covered with white cloth. That pair. Zhong Lan didn't know where he got so much cloth, and he kept changing the colors. These masked men were completely speechless. "Does your family own a cloth shop? Carrying so many masks with you?" Zhong Lan has always been prudent. Considering that there may be opportunities to commit crimes while masked, he brought some cloth of various colors. "I also took some clothes with me." After running for a while, thanks to Zhong Lan's super physical strength, everyone was exhausted and panting, with only one thought in their minds. "Is this a beast? It can run so fast with a person on its back." When Zhong Lan saw their bearish looks, he was immediately reassured. "Even with his attributes, he dared to pursue me. He is a man you will never get." He deliberately asked Ningtong loudly, "How's it going? Will it last long?" You can see that they are obviously suffering from kidney deficiency. After just a while, they won't be able to survive. The group behind became even more angry, stimulating the last bit of their potential. They howled and chased after Zhong Lan. Zhong Lan chuckled. As expected, freshmen are innocent. The reason why he took them running all the way was to see their strength. If someone could calmly pursue them for more than 10 kilometers without changing their face or beating their heart, Zhong Lan would never go to war with them head on. But now it seems that no one can fight. Zhong Lan still couldn't take it lightly. He used words to stimulate everyone, just to see if there was an old Yinbi like him. Looking at it now, this group of people might not even be able to beat Ningtong one-on-one, let alone him. Zhong Lan carried Ningtong to a small forest. Looking up, you can't see the sky. The ground is covered with thick leaves, which is a good place to bury the bones. He put Ningtong down and ordered, "You hide and pay attention to your own safety." Ningtong nodded. Zhong Lan had just carried her on his back for at least dozens of kilometers without even a drop of sweat, and he didn't even take a breath. She was also completely shocked by Zhong Lan's strength. His physique had exceeded at least 150. Combined with the power of Zhong Lan's punch just now, his strength was at least 120. These two attributes alone are more than twice as strong as hers. If Zhong Lan closes the distance, she will definitely be killed with one move. Zhong Lan, what kind of talent is it? After awakening for more than 3 months, it was several times more powerful than her S-level talent. It is not inferior to some sophomore students who have passed the spiritual realm 4 or 5 times. The team of masked men chased into the woods and saw a man with his back turned to them, seemingly defenseless. It looked like the boy who was running wildly with Ningtong on his back just now. Without the masked man's orders, everyone dispersed and surrounded Zhong Lan. The leading masked man ordered, "Kill this guy first, then kill the target. Zhong Lan ran all the way just now, which made them doubt Zhong Lan's identity. If they were trash with awakened D-level talents, there was no way their physique and agility could surpass them. They suspected that Ning Tong's partner with a D-level talent was just cannon fodder and had died after entering the spiritual realm. The boy carrying Ning Tong on his back should be a pre-planned ambush to protect Ning Tong. Zhong Lan laughed and asked, "Before you die, can you answer a question for me? You can't bring anything into the spiritual realm. How did you find us?" The masked man quietly made offensive gestures and used words to distract Zhong Lan. "Don't you know that sea level has a talent called phase sensing? As long as it comes into contact with this person's items, you can lock her within 10 kilometers. Zhong Lan nodded. If it was an innate ability, it would make sense. After all, there are thousands of talents with all kinds of abilities, some of which are not included in the talent manual yet. He asked again, "Then why do you insist on killing Ning Tong?" The masked man sneered and suddenly shouted, "You talk too much nonsense, do it." Everyone used their innate abilities to attack Zhong Lan. They felt their eyes blurred, and Zhong Lan suddenly disappeared. "Where are the people?" The leading masked man couldn't help but panic. The living person who was in front of him just now disappeared like this. What is the talent of this mysterious man? Could it be that he is another S-class awakener? It seems that this mission is not that simple. Everyone stand back to back. Don't let him sneak attack you. He may be an agility awakener. Everyone was full of vigilance, and some people with abilities transformed into light shields around their bodies. Suddenly, one of the tall and thin young men suddenly appeared in front of him. It was Zhong Lan. Zhong Lan shouted angrily, "Punch seriously." After punching out, the tall and thin young man seemed to see a huge word, death, appear in front of his eyes. This was also the last thing he saw in the human world. Zhong Lan punched out, and the young man's big head was completely turned into a mist of blood. The body without the head shook twice and slowly lay down on the ground. Then Zhong Lan's figure disappeared and disappeared again. It's an enhancement type talent. The strength attribute is at least over 150. A masked person made a split-second judgment. His physique and agility are at least 120 and above. Another masked person made a reasonable inference based on Zhong Lan's performance just now. Everyone took a breath of air. Freshman, first spiritual realm dungeon, strength over 150, constitution and agility over 120, 3 attributes over 100, how is that possible? Are you kidding? Some juniors can't even reach this level, okay. Impossible, no one can achieve this attribute before the first spiritual realm. Some people make split-second judgments. Yes, Ning Tong must be giving him a boost. Yes, that must be the reason. Find Ning Tong and kill her. This kid is a waste. Everyone thought they had found the correct answer, but Zhong Lan and Ning Tong couldn't help but curl up their lips when they heard it. So far, Ning Tong has not taken any action at all, only helping Zhong Lan to hide her figure. Ning Tong's power of space can help Zhong Lan perfectly integrate with the surrounding environment. It can be said that Ning Tong is Zhong Lan's best plug-in at this stage, helping him become invisible and increase his power. After a while, another person's head made a loud bang, and plasma and brains sprayed all over them. They were all freshmen. They had never seen such a sheer field before. Several of them immediately shouted in fear and began to run away. "Do not run." The tall masked man in the lead shouted loudly, but it was too late. Before several people could run far away, they were instantly killed by an elusive figure. It turned into a headless corpse and slowly fell to its knees. There was a deathly silence in the grove, and the masked people were completely filled with fear. Next, Ning Tong felt that everything that happened before her eyes was like watching a horror movie. Zhong Lan transformed into the god of death, and with the help of her ability to hide in space, she would definitely take a life if she didn't take action. There were constant banging sounds in the grove, and blood was flowing all over the ground. Zhong Lan's speed was too fast. With the help of her space power, she almost merged with the grove, just like a cheetah in the jungle, killing people silently. She had to use all her strength to barely keep up with Zhong Lan's shadow. Even so, she failed to cover Zhong Lan's figure in time several times. These people in the field have been killed by Zhong Lan. Even if Zhong Lan occasionally shows his figure, they dare not step forward to fight. Everyone's attributes are not at the same level at all. The highest level of these people is around the second level, while Zhonglan's attributes have reached at least the third level. 10 minutes later, only the tall masked man and the petite woman were left alive. Zhonglan and Ning Tong dispersed into the hiding space and slowly emerged from under the small tree nearby. The tall man's eyes were full of fear, and he begged Zhonglan, "Don't kill me, please, I still have an 80-year-old mother at home." Ning Tong couldn't help but count them with her fingers. "You are 18 years old this year. In other words, your mother gave birth to you when she was 62 years old. You are really amazing." Zhonglan couldn't help but glance at Ning Tong, but she didn't expect that Tong girl was fair-skinned, beautiful, long-legged, and extremely cruel to her enemies. Zhonglan said in a deep voice, "I'll ask you a few questions, answer them obediently, and then I'll consider letting you live." The masked man was even more frightened, and he begged Zhonglan, "Don't ask, there are some things that if I want to say anything, I will die immediately. Please, I don't want to die, I am still young, I have awakened S-level talent, and I have an unlimited future." Before he finished speaking, his head suddenly exploded on its own. Zhonglan looked at Ning Tong in surprise. He thought it was Ning Tong who took action. Ning Tong shook her head, indicating that it was not her, and whispered, "I heard from my dad that there is a master of suicide bombing in China, named Lu Shan. He can turn parts of the human body into bombs, and they will explode themselves if certain conditions are met." Zhonglan nodded. In this way, at least he had a clear goal. The attack on Ning Tong must have something to do with Lu Shan. When he becomes stronger in the future, he will have to investigate this matter. He asked the petite girl with a pleasant look, "If you knew the person's name in school, would you be able to find someone else?" The girl shivered and answered tremblingly, No, you have to at least touch this person's belongings." Zhonglan was quite sorry. Originally, if she could target her with her name, he would have considered saving her life. Although Lu Jing went to Modu University, she must have come to the spiritual realm this time. Zhonglan didn't mind letting Lu Jing recognize the current gap between the two here. "Don't worry about where I got my strength, as long as I can beat you." With Ning Tong as his best assistant, he has the confidence to confront even the big boss. Zhonglan said to Ning Tong, "She's left to you to deal with. It's up to you." Zhonglan had not gone far when he heard a bang from behind him. From the corner of his eyes, he saw the petite girl being stretched alive by Ning Tong using the power of space. His methods were even crueler than his own. He could at least leave half a corpse behind when he killed someone, but he died in Ning Tong's hands without even a corpse. He couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. After getting along with her, Ning Tong became more and more to his liking. If Ning Tong chooses to let the petite girl go, although he won't say anything, he will not train Ning Tong as a real partner from now on. Now it seems that Ning Tong not only has a hot body and a good brain, but also has a temperament that matches him. Ning Tong came over, her face expressionless. "Where shall we go next?" Zhonglan was high-spirited and pointed the country. "Let's go to bed." Ning Tong, "What I mean is, find a place to rest and then kill the big boss." In the spirit realm, the situation became more and more urgent. Dai Xing could not catch up with Zhonglan and the others. Anyway, the other awakened people were also in a group. It commanded the little zombies and began to kill them. It can also differentiate into countless small starfish that can fly. Once a human is hit in the face by a small starfish, he will die completely in a few seconds and become a puppet. Even if you are not thrown in the face, if you are bitten by a small starfish, you will be infected with the zombie virus and become a zombie within a few hours. The eyeballs of the sea star can emit red light, and even an S-class awakener who has awakened the enhanced defense talent cannot block its blow. The mortality rate among freshmen continues to rise and has now reached 25%. At the Spirit Realm Management Bureau, Zhang Anping looked extremely ugly. After repeated verification by the technical department, the detector did not malfunction. That is to say, a major change occurred in the number. One spiritual realm this time, causing the mortality rate of freshmen to soar. You must know that these people are the future pillars of the country. Fortunately, the top teams are all stable and are still surviving. That's why Zhang Anping doesn't like Ning Tong and Zhonglan, who are ranked first. The staff below checked the files just now and found that Ning Tong, who is number 1 in the rankings, has unknown talent. Zhong Lan, who is second on the list, has awakened the D-level talent. You can become stronger by becoming bald. Zhang Anping suddenly felt bad. What the hell? Are you telling me that a person who has awakened the most useless D-level talent is actually number 1 in the spiritual realm rankings? This was impossible. As a senior awakener who had cleared 20 spiritual realms, he knew very well what this deceptive D-level talent was. It has almost no effect except making people bald. Even if you train to death, the attributes you increase through daily exercise will still not reach the 3rd level. From this point of view, the problem must lie with Ning Tong. Her talent must be ridiculously strong to be able to lead a pig teammate with D-level talent. Zhang Anping frowned and asked, "Have you found out Ning Tong's origins? She didn't register with the Awakening Bureau. How did she awaken?" The staff member hesitated for a while and said, "Ning Tong's father is Ning Zhengxin, the original veteran of the Five Elements Alliance. It is normal that she did not awaken through the Awakening Bureau. In addition to the official Awakening Bureau and the Spiritual Realm Management Bureau, Blue Star also has some private organizations, the largest of which are the Five Elements Alliance and the Nula Temple. The Five Elements Alliance's power spans the entire Eurasian continent. The Nura Temple is an alliance of civil awakeners in South America and North America. Under the pressure of the ferocious beast, these two major non-governmental organizations have maintained an ambivalent relationship with the government. The alliance also has awakening stones, but their awakening stones are smaller and will only be used by the children of some insiders." Zhang Anping rubbed his eyebrows. Ning Zhengxin. How did he get the qualification to run a school? He couldn't help but sigh deeply. The external threat has not been eliminated, and the internal conflicts of mankind have become more and more serious. Because promotion channels are monopolized, some people slowly begin to turn to private organizations. The whole world is like an intricate chessboard, and if you pull one move, the whole body will move. Even he, Zhang Anping, a 6th-level awakener and a 20-level powerhouse, is still somewhat powerless. He said with a sigh, "Let's put Ning Tong's matter aside and think about a way to end this spiritual realm early. This is only the first day. If it really lasts 7 days, I'm afraid not many people except the top 10 on the list will survive." Zhong Lan and Ning Tong found a cave, and Ning Tong took a good rest. Zhong Lan lay down to rest after completing Saitama's exercise method. Exercise every day is his life creed. It was dawn, and Zhong Lan was hearing the chicken dancing in his sleep, when he was suddenly awakened by a voice in his mind. "All classmates in the spirit realm, we need to unite to defeat this terrifying monster. Otherwise, everyone will die in the spirit realm in 7 days. Everyone, please gather here." Then a map appeared in his mind, with a red dot glowing. Ning Tong was also awakened, and she asked Zhong Lan, "Shall we go?" She is now following Zhong Lan's lead. When Zhong Lan says to go east, she will never go west. Zhong Lan said she should rest and sleep, but she would never dance in the middle of the night. Zhong Lan thought for a while, but he was still not strong enough now, and he didn't know if he could beat Dai Sheng. It is absolutely impossible for him to do anything risky. So following everyone to promote boss is the safest way now. He was categorical. "Go, for the sake of humanity, we can't let so many classmates die in vain." Ning Tong couldn't help but rolled his eyes. If he didn't know Zhong Lan well, he might really be deceived by his high-sounding words. After spending the past few days together, she knew very well who Zhong Lan was. She nodded and smiled sweetly. "Good. Half an hour later, Zhong Lan and Ning Tong arrived at the meeting place. Their expressions were dull for a moment. Some men hugged each other, some men and women hugged each other, and some girls hugged each other. The postures are very strange, various positions. There are 2 male classmates facing each other head to toe. Zhong Lan quickly covered Ning Tong's eyes. "Don't look, we may have gone to the wrong place. Hey, classmate, excuse me, is this the meeting point?" 2 male classmates on the ground hugged each other tightly. One of them raised his head and made an indistinct sound. "Yes, we are all poisoned. It is said that if you suck out all the venom, you will not turn into a zombie. So, suck it gently." Only then did Zhang Lan realize that it was a large-scale healing site, which made him think that he had accidentally entered some illegal large-scale party. He immediately fell to the ground, moaning in pain. Ah, Tong Tong, I was also poisoned yesterday when I was fighting zombies. The location was 3/3 below my navel and between my legs. Ning Tong covered her mouth, her face turned red, and she grabbed a single and thin male classmate next to her. Classmate, my brother is poisoned. Can you help him breathe? The single, thin male classmate glanced at Zhang Lan, his strong arms and strong muscles, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He swallowed. Okay, wherever the wound is, I'll suck it. Zhang Lan glared at Ning Tong fiercely and stood up straight. His expression remained unchanged, his heart did not beat, and he brought out the greasiness of an old man to the extreme. I just checked it carefully again, and it was a misjudgment. The male classmate was reluctant and pulled Zhang Lan's belt. Classmate, let me check it carefully for you. Roll. Zhang Lan glared at Ning Tong fiercely, it's up to you to be ruthless. I'll write down this account for you. Someone called Zhang Lan from a distance. Classmate, if you are not injured, come here and we will discuss the battle plan. Zhang Lan led Ning Tong over. Hundreds of thousands of freshmen gathered together, both domestic and foreign. It seemed that the number 1 spiritual realm was where all the freshmen in the world were in the same space. Zhang Lan saw Lu Jing and Yan Qian among them. Yan Qian's eyes lit up when she saw Zhang Lan, and then she saw Ning Tong next to Zhang Lan. She was surpassed by Ning Tong in terms of figure and appearance. Yan Qian suddenly became depressed. She saw from the honor list that Zhang Lan was admitted to a private university. But he didn't expect to meet Zhang Lan in the number 1 spiritual realm, and he even brought a female companion with him. Lu Jing, on the other hand, showed contempt, glanced at Zhang Lan and Ning Tong from the corner of her eyes, and sneered. She said something to a tall and thin boy next to her. The boy raised his eyebrows and looked at Zhang Lan and Ning Tong with a hint of teasing. Zhang Lan also gave the tall and thin boy a cold look. If he was looking for trouble by looking beyond his own capabilities, he wouldn't mind giving him a ride, along with Lu Jing. A boy in the middle clapped his hands and said loudly, "Hello everyone, my name is Lu Jiahao, and I am a student at Kyoto University. Currently, there has been a huge change in the number 1 spiritual realm. Although I don't know what caused it, the difficulty has skyrocketed. I estimate that the difficulty of spiritual realm number 1 is already close to that of spiritual realm number 5. If everyone continues to fight independently, they may all be lost in the copy. So I propose that we form a temporary alliance and work together to eliminate this boss. Everyone, now is a good opportunity for us to show what we have learned and for the eagle to spread its wings. Don't hide your clumsiness and do your best." His words were impassioned and made people pee, causing everyone to applaud. Zhang Lan sneered. These people in front of him were all the children of social elites. They had a massive amount of talent points when they awakened, and they stood at a very high starting point to get to where they are today. If you want to trick me into working for your life with just a few words, you are too naive. Lu Jiahao nodded, with a light of hope flashing in his eyes. He continued, "Then, students with A-level and S-level talents, please step forward so that I can make tactical arrangements." Someone questioned, "Why? Everyone's talents are top secret." Lu Jiahao said calmly without showing any displeasure. "My talent is S-level insight. The plan made by me has a very high probability of success. I do not require everyone to fully inform the talent ability. I only need to know whether it is the enhancement system or the element system, and what the talent level is. That's it." Someone was whispering nearby. "It turns out to be an S-level gift of insight. The commander-in-chief of the Wa Kingdom's military department, Gong Cheng, has this talent. It is because of his presence that the Wa Kingdom has been able to fight against the ferocious beasts for so long without even a single city falling. That's great. It turns out to be S-talent insight. We are saved." The tall and thin man standing with Lu Jing took a step forward and said in a deep voice, "I'll go first. I'm Fan Wei, S-level talent, enhancement system." After speaking, he gave a low drink, and the surface of his body emitted a golden light, as majestic as a god descending to earth. "It turns out to be an indestructible body. That's great. This is the strongest S-level defensive talent. Haha, we have hope of living." It makes no difference whether you have awakened this talent or not, because when you use your talent, others can recognize it at a glance. Lu Jing also took a step forward. My talent is A-level elemental system, god of ice and fire. Her hands condensed into a ball of red and blue light, which contained great power. Wow, that's amazing. She has the same talent as Dr. Ice and Fire. Elemental systems or battlefield forts, most suitable for large-scale group battles. The two of them are a team. I guess they will be number one in the spiritual realm this time. She is from our school, and I heard that Yubo is her teacher. Following the lead of Lu Jing and Fan Wei, others also spoke out about their talents. Zhong Lan noticed that they were basically S-level or A-level talents. Yan Qian's talent is A-level spiritual talent, and the girl in her group, Fang Miao, is S-level special talent. Gradually everyone finished talking about their talents, and only Zhong Lan and Ning Tong were left. Ning Tong cast a questioning look at Zhong Lan. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.